Give at least 2 examples. Okay, okay. I think a feedback form will be circulated for this, and you can put in whatever feedbacks that you have or whatever changes you want, right? And the team can actually have a look and take a call on what needs to be addressed and what can be skipped. Just give me 1 second, guys. Just give me 1 second. Yeah, guys, sorry, I'm back. Okay. Yeah, so let's get started. Okay, so the idea for today, okay, now no more discussions on the test, right? The test format will be the same as module end test. Similar ho sakta hai, I am not sure, right? Because I myself am not aware of the format that you guys gave the last test in, right? So I'm not sure, but it will be conveyed well in advance, right? Okay. So no further questions on the test at this point of time. We'll now focus on today's lecture, right? And the idea of today's lecture is pretty simple. We will try to solve, a variety of questions on recursion. I have listed down certain questions that I want to solve today. Okay. So let's see how much we can cover, right? It's a 3-hour session. So definitely, I think, that will help us. Okay. Yes, we are doing problem solving, right? So that is the numerical portion of it. Okay, cool. So let's start with the first question, right? We'll take the first question from, maybe we can take it from the portal itself. Chalo portal se start karte hain. Okay. No doubt session today. Doubt sessions resume from tomorrow, right? From tomorrow, doubt sessions will resume. Okay. So the idea for today's class is entirely problem solving, right? So everyone, those who understand recursion, well and good. Those who didn't understand recursion completely, even better. Today, via problem solving, we will try to address more and more questions so that, you guys understand recursion in a better way. Okay, let's get started. And I will try to disable the chats here for some time, right? Because it becomes very difficult otherwise to focus. Okay. And yes, after doing a couple of questions or after doing a single question, I can open up the chats and we can have a word about it, right? So let me start. I think this question all of you must have done, right? And nobody would want me to do this question, right? So the recursive Fibonacci is the first question, which I think we already discussed yesterday, right? Given an integer n, find the nth number in the Fibonacci series. Consider 0 and 1 to be the seed values. Okay. So basically you have been given an input of n and you want to print the nth Fibonacci term. Your output should be the nth Fibonacci term. Okay. So this question, do you want me to do this question or should I skip this question? Because this same question we have discussed yesterday in online GDB. Okay. So everybody can do this. Yes, everybody can code this up. Fine. So I'll be skipping this question, right? I'll be skipping this question. It's a pretty straightforward question. Test case not passing. Let's quickly do it in 2 minutes, right? Let's quickly do it in 2 minutes. If the test case is not passing, we can see what's happening. So scanner SC is equal to, I'll just do it, right? You just follow along and see if you understand, right? Because I'm pretty sure 80% of the folks are clear with this. So let's take an input. Intent is equals to sc.nextInt. I have taken the number as input. Let me increase the size, right? And then what I will do, I will be simply calling, okay? Let's say I simply call my function Fibonacci, okay? And passes the value n. And I want it to return to me the nth Fibonacci term, okay? Now let us try to write this function. Public static int. It is returning an integer, okay? The name of the function is fib and it will take a number n. And the task of this function is to return the nth Fibonacci term. Now what do? First of all, we address the base case. And what is the base case? Boss, if n equal to 1, then the first Fibonacci term is nothing but 0. Okay. If n equal to 2, then the second Fibonacci term is nothing but 1. Okay. Otherwise, if we are not at a base case, then what do? I will return nothing but the n minus 1th Fibonacci term plus the n minus 2th Fibonacci term. So fib of n minus 1 will compute and give me the n minus 1th Fibonacci term. Fib of n minus 2 will give me the n minus 2th Fibonacci term. I add both of these terms and return the answer. Because the summation of the n minus 1th and the n minus 2th Fibonacci term is nothing but the nth Fibonacci term which I want. Okay. Now let us try to, check this code if it's working fine. So we'll give an input of 5 and let's see what's the output is coming very quickly. 3. Let's try to submit and see. Why are the test cases not passing? We can have a look. कर गया भाई, same code use किया हूँ, कौन बोला नहीं pass कर रहा है, right? So all the test cases have passed successfully, and if you look, there is zero changes that I did from the code that we did yesterday, right? Exact same code I have copy pasted, right? So this question is pretty simple and everybody can actually take a stab and attempt this question, right? I have already coded this up, but it's the same thing that we did yesterday. Okay. So let's move forward and try to take a different question, right? So that actually we, improve our understanding and not repeat the same content again, right? So let's come back to the assignment. Just give me 1 second. We'll do recursion 1 first. Okay. So let's take hello recursion, right? Let's take hello recursion. So I'll clean up the code if it is there already. Yes. Let me clean up the codes. Okay. Are the brackets fine? Yeah, seems okay. So let's read this question, right? Let's read this question. Hello recursion. First of all, let's try to understand what this question is asking us to do. And then we will try to code for this question. Okay. So what is the question saying? Boss, you will be given an array of n integers, okay? And write a recursive function to calculate its summation. Matlab kya hua? See, in simple terms, first of all, what do I want to understand? This question will be giving you an array of integers, right? You get an array filled with integers. And what you have to do? You just have to find the sum of all the integers that are present in the array. Now you will ask and you will come and ask, hey, others, this is a pretty simple question. I can simply declare a variable sum equal to 0. I iterate over the entire array and I do sum is equal to sum plus ARR of I. So everybody can solve this question using iteration. I am pretty sure. Is there anybody who will not be able to solve this question using iteration? Given an array of integers, find the sum of all the numbers that are present in the array. I am pretty sure everybody can do it via iteration. And if you are unable to do it via iteration, it's high time that you spend time and understand how to do this question via iteration. So using iteration, this question is pretty trivial, right? बहुत simple है, simple एक for loop लगाना है and we have to calculate the sum. But now they have changed the question. कि boss, you have to compute the sum of the elements present in the array. Okay. But you cannot use for loops. You cannot use iteration. You have to write a recursive function to calculate the summation. Okay. So let us try to go to the PPT and try to see how do we attempt, these kind of questions. Okay. Now, one important thing that I will tell you, right? Whenever you are dealing with questions on arrays and strings, right? So whenever you are solving questions on recursion or whenever you are writing recursive code, right? And you are dealing with arrays or strings, right? Whenever you are dealing with arrays or strings, right? We generally pass index also, okay? To our recursive function, we generally pass the index of the array or the index of the string that we are dealing with, right? Now, what do I mean that we pass an index of an array or the index of the string? We will understand via this question, okay? So this question is dealing with arrays. So one thing that you have to understand is you need to pass the index of your array inside the recursive function, okay? So let us try to understand how do we solve this question, okay? So let's say I have an array of integers, okay? For your understanding, let us draw an array of integers, 8, 5, 7, 6, 1, 2, okay? So this is an array of integers of size 6, okay? So the size of this array is 6, okay? So the valid indexes are from 0 till 5, okay? So I have given you this array of integers and I say, hey, can you please find the summation of all the numbers that are present inside this array of integers, okay? So now what do I do? What do I do? I will be developing my function. Now let's try to understand, right? So I am writing a function, public, static. What should be my return type? Boss, I want to compute the sum of all the integers. So my return type of the function should be int, okay? And let us call this function as sum, okay? Now what is this function expected to do? I will be passing the reference of the array object. So I will be passing an array and I will be passing an index. Let us say that I pass index I. And what is the job of this function? The job of this function is to give back to you the sum of the array elements from index 0 till index I. ध्यान से देखो guys. When I say, can you find the sum of the elements that are present in this array ARR from index 0 till index I? So when I call this sum function, let's say I call sum function ARR comma 3. If I call the sum function like this, sum ARR comma 3, then what should be the output of this? Can anybody help me? What should be the output? ध्यान से सुनो. Sum ARR comma I means sum of all the elements of the array from index 0 till index I. So if I ask you sum ARR comma 3, what do you think should be the output? Boss, sum ARR comma 3 will give me the sum of the array elements from index 0 till index 3. So from index 0 till index 3, 8 plus 5 is 13, 13 plus 7 is 20, 20 plus 6 is 26. So this is expected to give me the output as 26. Okay. So is everyone clear with what is the meaning of this function that I am wanting to write? ARR comma I, when I say, boss, find the sum of the array elements that are present in ARR, okay, and I pass an index I. So I need to find the sum of the array elements from index 0 till index I. That is the job that this function is expected to give. This will give the sum of all the array elements starting from index 0 till index I. Okay. No, Vipul, for arrays and strings, the general idea and the general way is you need to pass indexes. Otherwise, how will you break it up into smaller sub-problems? Okay. So now let us try to understand, guys. Let us try to understand. Let's say that you are standing on this index. Okay. Let's say you are standing at index number 5. Okay. I'll disable chats. Yes, that's better. Okay. So first of all, what is my bigger problem that I have to solve? What is the final problem that I have to solve? If I ask you, boss, the final problem that you have to solve is this: sum ARR comma 5. That is, give me the sum of all the array elements from index 0 till index 5. Okay. So if the length of the array is n, the problem that I want to solve is sum ARR comma n minus 1. That is, find the sum of all the array elements from index 0 till index n minus 1. And this will give me the answer that I want. Okay. So this is how I will be calling this function. And this is expected to give me the answer of the sum of all the array elements. Okay. Now let us try to understand, how do I break it up into smaller subproblems? Okay. How do I break this question up into smaller subproblems? So let's say you have an array, okay, of size 6. So the valid indexes are from index 0 till index 5. Okay. And let's say that I am standing on index number 5. Okay. Let's say you have called this function sum ARR comma 5. That is, boss, can you please find the sum of all the array elements from index 0 till index 5? So what I will do, I will say, boss, you wanted to find the sum of all these elements, right? So do you know what it is? मैं बोलूंगा, boss, can you find the sum of all the array elements from index 0 till index 4? I break it up into a smaller subproblem. I tell, hey boss, can you please give me the summation of all the array elements from index 0 till index 4? Let us say this answer is x. Then what will I say? The answer to this problem is nothing but 2 plus x. Can I say this thing? Boss, you are standing on index number 5. Let's say I have called this function sum ARR comma 5. That is, I want to find the sum of all the array elements from index 0 till index 5. Now you say that, boss, this is a very, very difficult problem for me. But if you are able to give me the answer of this smaller subproblem, can you find the sum of all the array elements from index 0 to 4? Get me this sum and add 2 to that. That will be my answer. So what I will say, sum of ARR comma 5 is nothing but 2 plus sum of ARR comma 4. Does everyone agree with this? What I'm trying to say? क्या सब लोग मानते हैं? What is the sum of the array elements from index 0 to 5? Is it not 2 plus the sum of all the array elements from index 0 till index 4? And through this relation, I understand ki, boss, this problem involves smaller and smaller subproblems. And you can definitely do it via recursion. Now let us try to trace how am I going to solve this problem via recursion. Okay. So let's consider that this is my array. Let's take the same array. 8, 5, 7, 6, 1, 2. Okay. Now, How have I called the sum function from the main method? I have called sum. Okay, I have called sum ARR comma 5. That is, boss, please give me the summation of all the numbers starting from index 0 till index 5 in the array. Now what do I see? Okay. Now, guys, are you standing at a valid index? Yes, we are standing at a valid index, right? Sum ARR comma 5 means I want to give you the answer of the sum of all the elements from index 0 till index 5. So currently think that we are standing at index number 5 and this is a valid array index. So what I will say, boss, sum of ARR comma 5 is nothing but what is the element at the fifth index? 2 plus I will make a call ki boss, can you please find the sum of all the array elements from index 0 till index 4. I will make a call to sum ARR comma 4. Now what happens? Sum ARR comma 4 will start running. Ki boss, now the task that you have at hand is finding the sum of the elements from index 0 to index 4. Now, first of all, think guys, is index 4 a valid index of the array? Yes, index 4 is a valid index of the array. So think that when you are inside this, where are we standing? I am standing at index number 4. See, now sum ARR comma 4 is running, right? The context of sum ARR comma 4 is running. So I am standing on index 4, which is a valid index. So my job is to find the summation of all the array elements from index 0 till index 4. So what do I do? It is nothing but 1 plus the sum of all the array elements from index 0 till index 3. So I make a call to sum ARR comma 3. And the moment I make this call, this context will get paused and a new context sum ARR comma 3 will be created. And this context now starts running. So is 3 a valid index? Definitely 3 is a valid index of the array. So what do I do? Boss, the summation of the first 4 elements we want, right? From index 0 to index 3. So मैं क्या बोलता हूँ? What is the element at index 3? It is 6. So the sum of the elements from index 0 till index 3 is nothing but 6 plus sum of the array elements from index 0 till index 2. Okay? Now this sum ARR comma 2 starts running. Okay? This ARR comma 2 starts running. Ki boss, now I want the summation of the array elements from index 0 till index 2. Guys, just give me 1 second. I am alone, so I'll just have to open the door. Just 1 second. Sorry for the slight disruption. Just 1 second. Yeah, I'm back. Sorry for the disruption. Right. So where were we? Sum ARR comma 2. That is, I want the sum of all the array elements starting from index 0 till index 2. This is also a very difficult task. So what do I say? Is 2 a valid index? Yes, it is. So what I will say, the sum of the array elements from index 0 till index 2 is nothing but 7 plus sum of all the array elements from index 0 till index 1. The moment I call this function, this starts running. Sum of ARR comma 1. Okay. Now I want the sum of all the array elements from index 0 till index 1. Is 1 a valid index of the array? Yes, it is. So I will say, okay, you know what? The sum of the array elements from index 0 till 1 is nothing but 5 plus the sum of all the array elements. Okay, sum of all the array elements from index 0 till index 0. Okay, from index 0 till index 0. Now this context starts running. Sum ARR comma 0. Now forgive my cyclical drawing that I have done, but I am running out of space, so this will cycle around now. Okay, so sum ARR comma 0 starts running. Now is 0 a valid index of the array? Yes, it is a valid index of my array. So मैं पता है क्या बोलता हूँ, boss? What is the sum of all the elements from index 0 till index 0? It is nothing but 8 plus the sum of all the array elements from index 0 till index minus 1. Now see, मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ, guys, try to understand. The sum of the array elements till index 0, what is it? It is 8 plus, I will say, boss, can you find the sum of the array elements from index 0 till index minus 1? Now, can anybody tell what should this return? This is now not a valid index of my array. So can anybody tell what should I return for sum ARR comma minus 1? Yes, correct. 0. थोड़ा significance बैठ रहा है. Why 0? Because what is the sum of the array elements from index 0 till -1? There are no elements now. So it will be 0. So what I will say, this is my base case. Now try to understand, guys. This is the base case. This will say, boss, the sum of the array elements from index 0 till index -1. Index -1 is not a valid index. So it will return 0. It will return 0. This will return 0. Now, 8 plus 0 is what? 8. So sum of ARR, 0 will now return 8. Okay. Then what was sum ARR, 1 waiting on? 5 plus this thing. So 5 plus 8 will be 13. So sum of ARR, 1 will now return 13. And guys, try to follow along. The answer is getting built slowly, right? Because the sum of all the array elements till index 1 is nothing but 13. Now what will happen? Sum of ARR, 1 returned 13. What was sum ARR, 2 waiting for? This answer. Here you receive 13. What is 13 plus 7? 20. So sum of ARR, 2 will now return 20 to the caller. Okay, forgive my drawing, right? So sum of ARR, 2 returns 20. So what does sum ARR, 3 return? 6 plus 20, that is 26 will be returned as the answer. Okay. Then 1 plus 26 is 27. So sum of ARR, 4 will return 27 as the answer. Okay. Then what was sum ARR, 5 waiting on? Now think, guys, you don't have to worry about all these things that is going on. I told, can you tell me the sum of all the array elements till index 5? You tell me, boss, it is nothing but 2 plus the sum of all the array elements till index 4. And now I get the answer of the summation of all the array elements till index 4 to be 27. So what is the answer? 2 plus 27 is 29. So this will return the answer as 29. And can you guys verify manually that the summation that we have obtained is correct or not? 8 plus 5, 13, 20, 26, 27, 29. Looks good, right? So is everyone able to follow why it is a question of recursion? How can I break it up into smaller sub-problems and solve my job? Making sense? And see, in order to, 5 is inclusive, right? 5 is inclusive. Okay. How will the function know it has to add? Srishti, if you look, what are we doing? Sum of ARR, 5 is nothing but 2 plus sum of ARR, 4. So I am telling the rule, right? 2 plus whatever summation you get. So at every stage, this addition will happen, right? It's not predefined. You are telling it the rules. Okay. But how 2 comes? Boss, try to understand. How does 2 come? I want the summation of all the array elements from index 0 till index 5. Okay. So मैं क्या बोलता हूँ? Give me the sum of all the array elements from index 0 till index 4 and add 2 to it because 2 is the element that is present at index number 5. Okay. Can you use I is equal to 0 also as the base case? Okay, good question. Can anybody help me? If I use I is equal to 0, if I want this to be the base case, what should I return? Yes, Aaron, you can do that. Correct. You can do that, right? Now, what I am saying is, I am explaining the base case once again. See, I am writing a function like this, sum ARR, I, and this is expected me to give the sum of all the array elements from index 0 till index I. So I am checking, boss, if I is equal to -1, that is, it is not even a valid index. So I will return 0. There are no array elements to be considered. So return 0 as the sum. That is what I'm writing. Or if Aaron, like Aaron pointed out, right? If I want to make 1 as the base or index 0 as the base case, then you can do something like this. If I is equal to 0, I want the summation of all the array elements from index 0 till index 0. What is your answer? Return ARR of 0. Is it making sense? This can also be your base case. Anything that you want, right? Okay. Now let's come back. If I is less than 0, return 0. Yeah, that also works fine. Okay. Anything. Okay. So now let's quickly come to the code, like coding aspect of it, and then we'll try to see how many of you guys are clear, right? I hope, yeah, the basic idea, right? How I'm breaking into sub problems, that is the most important, right? So let me first of all write the code in PPT and then we'll go and, write the code in, there also. Okay. So I am most interested in just writing this, sum function. So public static, what should be the return type? Integer. And I write the function name as sum and I say int whatever you have the reference of ARR and you have an index I. So what does it mean? sum of ARR comma I. That is, I want to find the sum of the elements from index 0 till index I. Okay. Now, what do I say? If I is less than 0, kaise bhi likh lo, all things will work, right? If I is less than 0, that means I is not a valid index of the array. So what will I do? I will simply return 0. Why? Because there are no elements, right? I less than 0 means you are standing at an invalid index. So simply return 0. No elements, so 0 summation. Right. Now, when you come to this part, that means you are standing at a valid index of your array. Let's say you are standing at this index, right? This is index number I. So what do I tell? The sum of all the array elements from index 0 till index I is nothing but the summation of all the array elements from index 0 till index I minus 1 plus the element that is present at index I. So what I will tell? Boss, my answer is nothing but return the element that I am standing on at index number I. So return ARR of I plus, now I have added this element ARR of I plus the summation of all the array elements from index 0 till index I minus 1. Because if you add, dekho, मान लो the sum of all these elements, right? Let's say A, B, C, D hai. A, B, C, D. The sum of all these elements is alpha. A, B, C, D ka summation is alpha, right? So if you add F to alpha, won't you get the summation of all the array elements from index 0 to index I? So I say, boss, find the sum of all the array elements from index number 0 till index number I minus 1. Because I am standing on index I, so find the sum of the elements from index 0 till index I minus 1. Okay. And to that summation, add ARR of I. So you will get the sum of the elements from index 0 till index I. So return that as the answer. Okay. That's it. Itna simple say code hai. Okay. So let's quickly write it up in the, this thing in the portal, and then we'll see how many of you are clear, right? In the portal, there is a slight modification in the question. I'll tell you. Go to the portal. So here what you are told is you are given an array of integers. Write a recursive function to calculate its summation. Okay. Input starts with an integer t. That is the number of test cases. Okay. So the first integer that you get as input is t, which is the number of test cases. See, the first integer is 2. So you will be given 2 test cases. This is your first test case. Okay. And this is your second test case. Okay. Now, each of the next t lines will start with an integer n. Okay. First of all, see, there are 2 test cases. So the next line, first of all, will contain the first test case. And what are the numbers? The first integer is n, which is the size of the array. And then you have the 5 array elements. Okay. Then the second line will now contain the second test case, which tells you, boss, the size of the array is 3. And there are these 3 elements. Now you have to return the answer for both of the test cases. And how is the output format? Ki boss, case number 1. What is case number 1? This array. What is the summation? 10 plus 5 is 15. 15 minus 2 is 13. 13 plus 3 is 16. So for test case number 1, the output is 16. Like this, you have to print, right? And for test case number 2, the output is 124. You can verify. 100 plus 34 is 134. 134 minus 10 is 124. So the first integer is t, which is the number of test cases. Then t lines follow, and every line will have input for a particular test case. And how will you give the output? You will give the output in this format. Case 1, answer. Case 2, answer. And likewise, there will be t test cases, and you have to give the answer for all the t test cases. Okay. So first of all, let's write the recursive code, right? First of all, let's not even think too much and write recursive code, right? So public, I'll increase the font size. So, public static int is the return type. Let me call my function as sum, right? And what it is receiving, it will first of all receive the reference to an array of integers. Okay. And it also gets an index. Let us call the index as I. And what is this function responsible for doing? It will give me the sum of the array elements from index 0 till index I. Okay. Now, if you see very carefully, now you want a base case, right? First of all, we are interested in the base case. Now you can have multiple base cases, right? You can also have a base case like this. If I equal to 0, that is, if I want to find the sum of the array elements from index 0 till index 0, that means there is just one element. So you can simply return ARR of 0. That is also fine. This is also a good base case, right? But in most generic cases, you will see people writing code like this. if I is equal to -1, or let's say I is less than 0, that means you are not standing at a valid index of the array. This is an invalid index. So what I will return? I will simply return 0 because there are no elements. So the summation will be 0. Now, when you come to line number 18, what do I say? Boss, you are standing at a valid index. So now I want to find the sum of the elements from index 0 till index I. So what do I say? What is my answer? Let us calculate it like this. Int answer is nothing but, let us find the sum of the first I minus 1, the sum of the elements from index 0 till index I minus 1. So I make a function call to this. This will give me the sum of all the array elements from index 0 till index I minus 1. And I will add to this summation ARR of I. And that is the sum of the elements from index 0 till index I. So I will return this as the answer. Okay. So this is the basic sum code that I have written. And definitely this is a recursive code, right? Because inside the function body, I am making a function call to the same function sum, different parameters, but it is recursion, right? Okay. Now let us come to the main method. We have written this logic. Now let us come to the main method. Okay. So first of all, my input, let's make the scanner, the same all boring job. Scanner sc is equal to new scanner system.in. Okay. Let's take an input int. Okay. What will I read? The first integer that is given is t, which is the number of test cases. So let us read this integer int t. Now, you will have t number of test cases, right? And for every test case, you will have to read the input and perform this summation, right? So let us make a loop. I will be making a for loop. For int I equal to 0, I less than t, I plus plus. So this loop will run for t times, right? There are t test cases. So I run this loop for t times. And every time what I will be doing, the first time this loop runs, I will read this entire input and get the output. The second time the loop runs, I will read the second test case and give the output. So this loop will be running for t times, and in every time, I will be reading the inputs of a particular test case and giving you the output. Okay. So let us read the input. What is the first integer? Int n, which will tell me the size of the array. Okay. Then what I will have to do, I will make an array of size n. Int arr is equal to new int, right, n. Then I will take the array elements as input, right? So for int j is equal to 0, j less than n, j plus plus. I will take the array element as input. So ARR of j is equal to sc dot next int. Now I have taken the input of a particular test case. Now I want to give you the output. So first of all, I will call the sum function. Kar lete hai call, theek hai? So what is the answer for this particular test case? Let us say answer is, I will call the sum function. Can you find the sum of all the elements of ARR from index 0 till index n minus 1? So it will give me the summation of all the elements. And then how do I print my output? Case, the test case number, colon 16, right? So मैं एक काम करता हूँ, I'll make it a little bit better. For int I equal to 1, I less than equal to t. So I starts from 1 and goes till t. So this loop runs for t times, right? And in every time I am taking the input of a particular test case. Now, when the value of I is 1, this is the first test case. When the value of I is 2, this is the second test case, likewise. So how will I print my output? System.out.println. कैसे print करना है? Case, okay? Space दो. Then I have to write the test case number. What is this current case, guys? This is case number I that I am dealing with. So I add करो, ठीक है? So case 1 plus, okay? Then put a colon, put a space, and plus, then you will write the answer. That is what we are giving, right? So case number I and print the answer of the particular case that you have calculated. Now that should solve our problem. Now let's try to take an input output to see if it is working fine. So let's try to run the code. Case 1, case 2. Output seems correct, right? दिखने में तो same ही लग रहा है. So now let's try to submit it. Yes, so all the test cases passed, right? So now before even unchatting, allowing you to write on the chat, right? I think we'll quickly do a Slido poll for this question, right? This is a nice question. And if you understand this question now, you will automatically be able to solve another question, which I will be leaving with you guys as homework, right? sum of the first n natural numbers. You have to give me the sum of the first n natural numbers using recursion. Same concept, very similar concept, right? Based on this only. Okay. So I'll just activate this poll so that people can vote. How many of you are clear with the concept of this question, right? Everyone understands this or not? So just vote it out here so that we can, decide appropriately and try to, go further or, there, whatever. Okay. So yeah, I'll then just unblock the chats. Okay. Yeah, guys, just quickly go and vote it out, right? How many of you are clear with the sub-problem division? Okay. And if you are clear with the sub-problem division, automatically you will understand how recursion is working. Okay, cool. I get a overall response 40, 30, 70, 76, 84. Okay. So around 84% of the folks are almost clear with this, right? And okay. So I'll just repeat a little bit for the remaining 17% so that everyone is at the same page. Okay. Where did the question go? Yeah. So just cast in your votes by then. So see, guys, what are we trying to do? Let's take a very, very basic case, right? Let's try to take a very basic case. You have an array of 2 elements only, or let's say 3 elements only, right? I want to find the summation of all these 3 elements from index 0 till index 2. So I say, boss, can you find the summation of all the array elements from index 0 till index 2? Now, what do I tell you? Let us say, just 1 second. Okay. So I want to find the sum of all the array elements from index 0 till index 2. So abhi sum of S of ARR मैं नहीं लिख रहा हूँ बार-बार. S of 2 is running. That is, I want to find the sum of all array elements till index 2. Now, what do I say? Boss, you want to find the sum of all the array elements from index 0 till index 2 now. And you are standing on index number 2. So what is this entire summation? See, what is 8 plus 5 plus 6? Can't I say 8 plus 5 plus 6 is nothing but 6 plus you give me this entire summation? So can you find the sum of all the array elements from index 0 till index 1? Please give me this summation and add 6 to that. That is your answer. So now I am waiting on this. The moment I get the answer to this, I know the answer to the entire sum, right? Now sum of 1 starts running. What is the sum of the first, array elements from index 0 till 1? I say, boss, it is nothing but 5 plus sum of all the array elements till index 0. Okay. And what is the summation of all the array elements from index 0 till index 0? It is nothing but 8. Or I can say it is nothing but 8 plus sum of minus 1. And here I am returning, this is my base case, and I am returning 0. So 8 plus 0 is 8. So either you can make minus 1 as your base case and return 0, or you can make I equal to 0 as your base case and return ARR of 0. So this returns 8 to me. What is 8 plus 5? 13. So sum of 1 will return a 13. And sum of 1 returns 13. 13 plus 6 will be 19. And that will be returned by sum of 2. Okay. And what are these are test cases, right? See, there are t number of test cases. So run this loop t times. And every time, dekho, ye jo logic hai na, earlier we were doing just this logic only. But now I have to perform the same logic for t different test cases that are given in the input. So that is why I've run a loop for t number of times, starting from test case number 1 till test case number t. Okay. Okay, cool. So I think we have a decent proportion of 80-20 around. So that is cool. That's fine, I would say. Okay. So let me clean up the screen. And yeah. Anybody, any other concerns, or we can move further? Why are we using before at some other? Why are we using before ARR? In main, why some ARR comma n minus 1? Okay. So what do you want to do at the end of the day? What do you want to do at the end of the day? I'll get back to your questions, right? So what do you want to do at the end of the day? At the end of the day, you want to find the sum of all the array elements now. So how will you find? This method gives you the sum of all the array elements from index 0 till index I. Okay. So if there are n elements in the array, what are the valid indexes? From index 0 till index n minus 1. So I call sum ARR comma n minus 1 ki boss, can you find the sum of all the array elements from index 0 till index n minus 1? This is just another way of saying, give me the sum of all the array elements. That is why. Okay. Cool. So where have we called the function in main? Here we have called, देखो, inside main you have called this sum function now. Cool, guys. So I think we'll move further, right? We'll not spend more time, right? It's almost clear to everyone. So yeah, the remaining folks can have a look at once, right? And if you have any further questions, I'll happy to take it up later. But I think we can move further, right? Because mostly we are clear. Okay. So let's go to the next question, right? Let's go to the next question. What's the next question? Okay. Let's come to recursive digit sum, or even before going to recursive digit sum, right? Let's try to take certain basic questions, right? We'll come to this towards the end. Okay. Let's go to coding back. Okay. Let's take this question. Count 7. Okay. Let's take this question. Okay. So let's have a read at this question, right? Let's have a read at this question. Acha. Acha guys, even let's count 7, right? So given a non-negative integer n, return the count of occurrences of 7 as the digit. So if the input is 717, your output would be 2, because there are 2 times that is 7 is occurring in the number. If your input is 126, then your output should be 0. Basically, you are given an integer n, and you have to count how many times 7 is occurring in that number and return that count back to the user. Okay. So first of all, can everyone do it iteratively? What you will do, you check the units digit. Then if it is 7, you do a count plus plus. You change the number n is equals to n by 10. And you keep on continuing this operation until n is greater than 0 or n is not equal to 0. Right? See, what was the logic? What was the logic? If I asked you the same question, okay, ki boss, can you count the total number of 7s in an integer? Right? So what you will say, let's say that n is the integer that is given as input. What you will do? Via iteration, I will maintain a count. I will maintain a count equal to 0. And what will you do? You will do, let's say while n is not equal to 0. While n doesn't go to 0, what you will do? You will say, okay, what is the digit? Let's say int digit is equal to n percentage 10. And you will check if digit equal to 7. Okay. You will do a count plus plus. Okay. You will do a count plus plus. And then what you will do? N by is equal to 10. Is this logic making sense? Yes, Kambir, I'll come to you a little bit later, right? Let us solve this question. You guys just type in your concern. I'll have a look. Okay. Does everyone agree with the iterative code for this one? Count is equal to 0. What am I doing? Let's say you have given the number 765, right? I see n is not equal to 0, right? So what will I do? I will see what is the digit at the last place. This digit is 5. Is 5 equal to 7? No. So I don't increase count and I do n is equals to n by 10. So the number becomes 76. Okay. Then what will happen? Yes, we are going to do problems only. Today only problems, right? Only problems, right? I've disabled the chats. I'll see. Okay. Please explain the way of passing array to the function. Okay, passing array to the function is pretty simple, right? You just have to pass the name of the array ARR. Okay, whatever is the reference of the array that you have to pass to your function. Okay. Okay, cool. So now the number is 76. What do I do? Again, I see that this number is not equal to 0. So I see, okay, this digit is 6 here. So what should I do? This is not 7, right? So I will not do a count plus plus and I do n is equals to n by 10. Now the number goes to 7. What do I see? Is n equal to 0? No, it is not. So I will extract the digit. What is the digit? The digit is 7. Is 7 equal to 7? Yes. So I will increase count and then I will do n is equal to n by 10. So now n will go to 0. I come outside the while loop and I can print count outside the while loop. Okay. So this is an iterative way of counting the number of digits. Okay. Counting the number of 7s in a particular number. Now the question says, boss, you have to do the same thing via recursion, right? You have to write a recursive code to find the number of occurrences of 7 in a given integer. Now, the answer lies in this code only. The answer lies in this code only. Acha. Guys, मेरे को सोच के बताओ, till when are we running the while loop? till when are we running the while loop? Till n is not equal to 0. And the moment the value of n becomes 0, you stop. You stop the while loop and return the answer. So what will be my base case? See how I am converting the iterative code into recursive code. We are performing some logic till n is not equal to 0. The moment n becomes equal to 0, I come outside the loop and I return my answer. So what I will do? My base case will be if n is equal to 0, I will simply return. Boss, if the number is 0, what do you return? There are 0 occurrences of 7, so return 0. Now let us try to understand the basic sub-problem structure here, right? Let's say that I have a number 7876 and I want to count the number of sevens in this number. Okay, I want to count the number of sevens. So what will I do? I will first of all say, boss, let us inspect this last digit. Okay, it is a 6. So what I will tell, boss, the number of sevens in this entire number 7876 is nothing but the number of sevens in 787. Can I say this? Boss, the total number of sevens in 7876 is nothing but the total number of sevens in 787. Okay, I've broken up my problem into simpler, smaller sub-problem. Now I want to find the total number of sevens in 787. So what do? I inspect this last digit. This is 7. So the last digit is 7. So can I say the total number of sevens in 787 is nothing but 1 plus the total number of sevens in 78. Okay, why? See, this is a 7 here, so I add 1 for this. Ki boss, ek 7 to mil gaya. Plus the total number of sevens that you have in 78. Okay? See, I'll try to explain, right? So we have a function f. Okay, let's call a function f. This will take an integer and it will tell me how many sevens are there in this particular integer. Okay, so what do? First of all, I check the last digit. It is 6, right? So if the last digit is not 7, can I say the total number of sevens in 787 is as simple as the total number of sevens in 787? So now this f on 787 will start running. How many sevens are there in 787? I check the last digit, right? This last digit is 7. So can I say the total number of sevens in 787 is nothing but 1 plus the total number of sevens in 78? देखो ना भैया, ये एक 7 है, इसके लिए 1 add कर दिया, plus the total number of sevens that you get in 78. Now you start running your logic on the number 78. You again inspect the last digit. It is 8, right? So is it a 7? No. So the total number of sevens in 78 is the same as the total number of sevens in 7. Okay, just remove this digit, right? Now, okay, now you have the number 7. So I inspect the last digit, right? It is a 7. So the total number of sevens in this integer is nothing but 1 plus, this is 1 7 plus the total number of sevens in n by 10, which is nothing but 0. Now, what should f of 0 return, guys? F of 0 should return 0. Because if the number is 0, it doesn't have any sevens, right? So this is my base case and you will return 0. 1 plus 0 is 1. So f of 7 will return 1 to the caller. Okay. Now f of 7 returns a 1, right? F of 7 returns a 1. So what is the answer to f of 78? The answer to f of 78 is nothing but 1 only. Because what was f of 78 depending on f of 7? So f of 7 gave the answer as 1. So f of 78 also returned 1 to the caller. Now 1 plus 1 is 2. So f of 787 will return 2 to the caller. Okay. Now f of 7876 was the same as f of 787. So this will also return 2. And my final answer will be, boss, 7876 has 2 number of sevens. That will be result to the user. So the basic idea here is, given any number, let's say you have an integer n. So what will I check? My base case will be ki if n is equal to 0, if n has gone down to 0, simply return 0 because there are no sevens in this n, right? Now, if you are not at a base case, so what will I do? I will first of all inspect the last digit of the number n. Okay. So what I will see? If n modulo 10 equal to 7, that means the last digit is 7. So what should I return as my answer? Return 1 plus f of n by 10. Okay. So mega bolunga boss, the last digit is 7. So add 1 for that 7. Plus, can you tell me the number of sevens in n by 10? What is n by 10? If n is 7876, n by 10 will be 787. So after adding 1, you are removing this last digit by doing n by 10. Okay. Else, if the last digit is not 7, okay, let's say you have a number like this. If the last digit is not 7, then can I say the total number of sevens in this number n is nothing but the total number of sevens in the number n by 10. Okay, the total number of sevens in 7888 is nothing but the total number of sevens in 788. So I will return what? Simply f of n by 10. The boss, the number of sevens that you get in n by 10, that will be your answer. Okay. Is the logic making sense, guys? Yes. Is it understandable? Else part. See, else part is just 1 second, guys. 1 sec. Give me 1 second. I need to. Yeah. So what is the else part, right? What is the else part? Else part is going ki boss, इसमें count use करने की need. No need to use count, right? Because you have done 1 plus this thing, na? So you don't need to use count. Okay. Now see what is actually happening, right? Let us try to run this or do a dry run of this code, right? Then I think it will be more clear, right? So if n equal to 0, I return 0. Okay. Now what do I check? If I am not at a base case, I check the last digit. If it is 7, what will be my answer? My answer is nothing but 1 plus. Character bhi kar sakte ho, but why do you want to make it character, right? It is simply an integer, right? And why do you even want to change it to a character? Okay. Why do we need recursion? We need recursion because it is told in the problem, right? And first of all, guys, please come with your original names, right? Okay. Now, so 1 plus f of n by 10. Okay. Else, that means the last digit is not a 7. So the number of sevens is the same as the number of sevens in n by 10. Okay. Cool. Now let us try to understand. Let us take a very short example, right? So let's take 879. This is the number that I have taken. Okay. So first of all, f of 879 is running, right? F of 879 is called from the main method. Now what do you see, guys? Is 879 equal to 0? No, it is not, right? So what do? I first of all check the last digit, n percentage 10. What is 879 percentage 10? It will give me 9. Is 9 equal to 7? No. That means the last digit is not 7. So what do I tell? The answer to f of 879, what is the answer to this? The answer to this is 1 plus f of n by 10. What is n by 10? 87. Sorry. You will enter the else part, right? See, this last digit is not 7. So I enter inside the else part and I say the total number of sevens in 879 is nothing but the total number of sevens as n by 10. That is 87. And am I saying correctly? Sochna if n is a string, you will be able to do it. Think. Everything I can't say, right? Otherwise, what will you think, right? You have to do the thinking on your own also. Okay. So can I say the total number of sevens in 879 is the same as the total number of sevens in f of 87? So I am saying return f of 87. So f of 87 is called. Now f of 87 will be running, right? Now again I check. Is 87 equal to 0? No. I check the last digit. Okay. So is 87 percentage 10 equal to 7? Yes. The last digit is 7. Okay. The last digit is 7. So what do I tell? The total number of sevens in 87 is nothing but 1 plus, I enter the if block, 1 plus f of n by 10. 1 for this 7 plus the total number of sevens in the remaining number, which is f of 8. Okay. Is this making sense, guys? See, try to understand. Ek bahut bada number hai, right? We have a very big number and the last digit is 7. So can I say the total number of sevens in this entire number is 1 plus the total number of sevens that you find in this part of the number? That is what we are doing, right? So now f of 8 starts running. Okay. Is 8 equal to 7? No. 8 percentage 10 is 8 and that is not equal to 7. So what I will say, the total number of sevens in this is nothing but the total number of sevens in 0. 8 by 10 is 0. So you will enter the else block and return f of 0. So what is f of 0? F of 0 will return 0. The moment this returns 0, f of 8 will return 0. Okay. F of 8 returns 0. 1 plus 0 will be 1 and f of 87 returns 1. Okay. If we ask doubts, you simply say Google it. If we are using Google, then why are we here? So Vamsi, first of all, let me clear this thing, right? We are nowhere trying to do a spoon feeding. Okay. I cover a concept using an integer, and if you want to try it using a string, I would definitely say you have to try it on your own first, right? If everything you ask, I simply supply you the answer, now you will never learn. Okay. And we have limited time, we have to cover up things, right? ऐसा नहीं है यार कि मतलब सब कुछ अगर बता दूंगा मैं directly, then what will you do, right? Everything you get as answers. You have to do some digging, right? At the end of the day. Okay. Yes. How to choose base case? Logic से समझ में आ रहा है, right? See, if you follow the logic, what is happening, right? Where do you need to stop? And see, guys, if you understand the iterative code, right, you will understand where are you stopping, and that is your base case. You are running this while loop till n is not equal to 0. So the moment n becomes equal to 0, so what will happen? You stop now. So that is my base case. Okay. Cool. So if you see here, where were we? Right. So f of 8, okay, this returned as 0. So 1 plus 0 is 1. So f of 87 will return the answer as 1. Now f of 87 has returned a 1. So what was f of 879 saying? That was the number of 7s in 879 is the same as the number of 7s in 87. So this returns 1. So f of 879 will also return 1 to the caller. Okay. Now let's quickly go and write this code. Cool. So let's zoom it up. So what's the base case that we write here? What's the base case? The base case is boss if n is equal to 0. If n is equal to 0, that means you have no 7s, right? So you simply return 0. Okay, simply return 0. Okay. Otherwise, what I will do, you have a number n. You have a valid non-zero number. So let us check the last digit. Okay. If n modulo 10, if the last digit turns out to be 7, okay. If the last digit of the number, let's say if the number is 187, right? So the last digit is 7. So can I tell you the total number of 7s in 187 is nothing but 1 plus the total number of 7s in 18. Okay. So I will say return. What is my answer? 1. Why am I adding 1? Because the last digit is 7. So 1 is for that 7. And can you please count the number of 7s that are present in the number n by 10? Why n by 10? Because I want to, remove the last digit, because I have already added 1 for that last digit 7. Okay. I'll return this answer. Else. If the last digit is not 7, can I say the total number of 7s in this number n is the same as the total number of 7s in n by 10? Because the last digit is not a 7. So I will simply say return, count 7, count the number of 7s that are present in the number n by 10, and that is only the answer to count 7 of n. So simply return this thing. Okay. Now let's try to run it. Cool. So this ran, right? This ran. Okay. How to count ABCD, everything we will take one after the other, right? It's simple, right? If you think you'll be able to do it, it's almost the same, right? If you are able to count the number of 7s, and you can extend the same logic to strings and counting ABCD also, right? So is everyone clear with this logic? Yes. But you didn't use percentage. Why? I used a percentage na? Yahan pe na? Okay. Can you please explain the else part again? Okay. See, else part is basically saying, let's say you have a number 788. Okay. You have a number this. How many 7s are there? How many 7s? Can I say the number? Sub. Let's see, guys. We'll be taking questions, right? Let's see. I have a list of questions that we want to do, but let's see how time passes, right? So can I say the total number of 7s in this number? See, is the last digit a 7? Is the last digit a 7? No. So can I say the total number of 7s in this entire number is the same as the total number of 7s in this? Right. So that is what we are doing. If the last digit is not 7, simply return the answer to n by 10. Ki jitna 7s are in 78, that is my answer. Okay. Will 1 be fixed for every case? No, if the last digit is 7, right, then you are returning 1 plus. And why we are doing a 1 plus? In order to count for this 7, which is the last digit. Okay. How can be I as the index number without define with loop? No, I didn't get the question. Just 1 second. I'll have to stop the charts. I'm getting lost in that. 1 sec. I'll just quickly take the questions. Can you make the driver class not needed, Divyansh, at this point of time, right? We have to just complete functions. Okay. What is count 7? Name of the function. Okay. I understand logic, but I can't implement. Practice. If you understand the iterative code, now that gives you the hint of how is the recursive code, right? And that is what we're trying to learn, how to think recursively, right? So that will come. And what is this? How can be I as index number without defining with loop in previous question? I didn't get this question. How can you use I as index number? I have not. See, I have passed the index, right? This I is completely different, right? Why do I want to define this I? I am passing this I as n-1 here from the main, right? Okay, cool. So can we move to the next question? I think we have to move, right? It's 1 hour already and we have just done 2 questions. So let's move further, guys, right? Can I move further? So spend some time, try to do a dry run yourselves and trace it also. So you will be better able to understand what is going on. Okay. But I think we can move forward. Okay. So the next question that we can take, let us see. Okay. Sum of natural numbers, right? Now you guys will help me with this, right? I will not give you the solution. I will not spoon feed this, but I will just discuss the relationship. I am just interested in knowing the relationship. So what is the question? You have been given an integer n and I want to find the sum of the first n natural numbers. Okay. So let's say if the value of n is 5, I have to give the output as 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, the summation of the first 5 natural numbers. Okay. Okay, cool. Can anybody help me with this code, right? So I want to write a function sum that takes an integer n and it will give me the sum of the first n natural numbers. Can you help me? Can you help me? Okay, if n equal to 1, return 1. Okay. वो भी कर सकते हो, n equal to 0, return 0. Okay, correct. So I think all of you have understood the recurrence relation, right? What can be my base case? My base case can be, let's say if n is equal to 0, you can return 0. That is fine, right? Or if n equal to 1, you can return 1. वो भी ठीक है. That is also fine, right? So the base case can be, let's say if n equal to 1, right? If you want to find the sum of the first one, or let's say n equal to 0, right? So there are 0 natural numbers. So simply return 0. Otherwise, what I will say, boss, you have to find the sum of the first n natural numbers, right? So I will say it is nothing but, if you have to find the sum of the first 5 natural numbers, it is nothing but 5 plus the sum of the first 4 natural numbers. So the sum of the first n natural numbers is n plus the sum of the first n minus 1 natural numbers. You return this. Okay. So I think everyone understands this part, right? I'll not code this up. Can you guys try this yourself? Fine for all? Simple question? Okay, cool. So I'll skip this. Okay. Now, let's go back. Sum of natural numbers we have done. Questions from portal. Okay, let's take another question from the portal, right? Let's come to modules. Yeah, medium level pe aa raha hu. Coming to that. Where was that? Yeah, recursive digit sum, right? Recursive digit sum. Let's come to this. Okay. Okay, pausing the chats once again. Cool. So let's read this question and let us try to understand what this question does, right? And then we'll try to write a code for this. Okay. So we define the super digit of an integer n using the following rules. Given an integer, we need to find the super digit of an integer n. So you have been given an integer and you have to find the super digit of that integer n. Okay. So if n has only 1 digit, then its super digit is n. ये rule दे दिया, ठीक है? If the number n has only 1 digit, then the super digit is n only. So if I say, what is the super digit? Let's say SD, right? What is the super digit of 8? The super digit of 8 is 8 itself. What is the super digit of 5? the super digit of 5 is 5 itself. What is the super digit of 0? The super digit of 0 is 0 itself. So if the number that you are getting as input, that is a single digit, then the super, see, if n has only one digit now, then its super digit is n itself. So if the number has only one digit, then the super digit will be the same. Okay. So this is the rule that is given to us. Okay. Then otherwise, the super digit of n is equal to the super digit of the sum of digits of n. That means क्या बोल रहे हैं? Let's say you have been given कि hey boss, can you find the super digit of 856? तो ये पता है क्या बोल रहे हैं? It says the super digit of this number. This is a 3-digit number, so I don't know like this, right? So the super digit of n will be equal to the sum of all the digits of n. See, it will be equal to the super digit of sum of the digits of n. So what I will do? I understand, boss. First of all, I have to find the sum of digits of n. What is the sum of digits? 8 plus 5 plus 6. What is it? It is 19. So I will say the super digit of 856 is nothing but the super digit of 19. Do you all agree? The super digit for 856 is nothing but the super digit that you get, the super digit of the sum of digits of n. Do you agree? If I want you to find the super digit of 856, तुम क्या बोलोगे, boss? Find the sum of all these digits. Whatever number you get the super digit of that. Okay? No, अरे question में दिया देखो ना. The super digit of n is equal to the super digit of the sum of digits of n. So find the sum of digits of n and find the super digit of that. जो इसका आंसर होगा, that is the answer of 856. Okay? Now the question boils down to this. See, I wanted to find the super digit of 856, but I have broken it down into a simpler problem, right? Ki boss, please find the super digit of 19 and that will only be my answer. Now, let us try to solve this problem. Super digit of 19. Again, you see that 19 has 2 digits. So can you get it super digit simply? No. The number has 2 digits, right? So what will be the super digit of 19? It will be equal to the super digit of the sum of the digits of 19. So first obtain the sum of digits of 19, which is 10. So find the super digit of 10. So whatever you get the answer for the super digit of 10, that will be the answer for super digit of 19. And that in turn will be the answer for super digit of 856. Okay. Now I want to find super digit of 10. Is n only having a single digit? No. So what is the super digit of 10? The super digit of 10 is nothing but the super digit of the sum of its digits, which will give me 1. Now, when I want to find the super digit of 1, because 1 is a single digit, I know its answer. Super digit of 1 is 1. So this will return 1. Super digit of 10 is also 1. Super digit of 19 is also 1. Super digit of 856 is also 1. So the output will be 1. Okay. Let's see how many of you are understanding the process. Is this making sense, guys? Let me try to take another example. देखो, question क्या बोल रहा है? Question मेरे को बहुत simple सा चीज बोल रहा है. Let's take any number, right? Let's say 999. I want to find the super digit of 999. I want to find the super digit of 999. ठीक है? So what is the super digit of 999? Boss, find the sum of digits of 999. This is 27. So the answer to super digit of 999 will be the same as super digit of 27. So मैं बोलता हूँ, boss, return super digit of 27. That will be the answer, right? So now I am computing super digit of 27. Now what is the super digit of 27? The super digit of 27 is the same as the super digit of 7 plus 2, that is 9. Now, what will be the super digit of 9? Try to understand, guys. This is the base case. This is the base case, right? Because this is a single digit. You know the answer to the super digit of 9. It is 9. So this returns 9. Super digit of 9 will be 9. So this also returns 9. Okay. And SD of 27 answer is 9. So you return 9. So super digit of 999 is 9. Making sense? देख रहे पढ़ते हैं क्वेश्चन, पूरा पढ़ा नहीं हूं मैं. 10 क्या है? Okay. What's the question? Let's read it. How can I ignore the right side of 0? Where are you ignoring the right side of 0? Pritish, I think let's take it up. I would encourage all of you to try it, but anyways, I think let's do it, right? I'll give you some similar questions if you want, right? But it's saying if n has n digits, then only a super digit, right? Correct. Is this the question? इधर तक समझ आया क्या? What is the super digit of n? Yes. Now let's read forward, right? Super digit. Yes, we have to keep performing the operation until we get a single digit as output. Correct, guys. तो एक और बता देता हूँ, एक और छोटा सा लेके. Let's say you want to find the super digit of 686, right? Then what is the super digit of 686? It is the same as super digit of, find the sum of digits. 6 plus 6 is 12, 12 plus 8 is 20. So find the super digit of 20. Okay, and that only will be the answer, right? What is the super digit of 20? There are two digits, right? So 2 plus 0 is 2. So find the super digit of 2. And what is the super digit for 2? 2 itself. So this will return 2. Super digit of 20 will also return 2. Super digit of 686 will also return 2. So that is how we are trying to find the super digit of a given number. But let us try to understand what they are doing. So super digit has the following parameter s. String n, a string representation of the number. Okay. So they are giving us a string representation of a number. Okay. Int k, the times to concatenate n to make p. Okay, let's look at the example. Not very clear with this. Okay. So they have given us n. Okay. And they want us to concatenate it 3 times. Okay. See, so what is the input, guys? Try to understand. ये लोग कर क्या रहे हैं मैं बताता हूँ. ठीक है. See, they are telling, this is a string 148, right? And you have to concatenate it 3 times. So you have to add 148 one after the other 3 times. And this is your number n, right? This is your string number. And you have to find the super digit for this. Okay. Can you guys, forget about this string thing, right? I will ask you, but can we first of all make sure that we understand this in integer point of view? And for string, I can then, elaborate, right? So let's say if I had to write a function like this, super digit, it will return an integer, right? And it takes an integer n. Let's try to first, understand the basics, then we'll go to strings, right? So if you want to find the super digit of n, what is your base case? Ki boss, if n is of a single digit, return n only, because I know the answer. So how do I check if n is a single digit? Can anybody give me the expression for checking if n is a single digit? How do I know if n is single digit or not? Huh? If n less than 10, kar sakte hai? Or if n by 10, whatever. So I can do like this. If n by 10 equal to 0. Do you agree n is a single digit? Yes. So what I will do, I will simply return and that is the answer. Otherwise, what I will do, I will find the sum of the digits of n. Okay. So write the logic for finding the sum of digits of n. Normal iterative code you can write here, right? You find the sum of digits of n. Let's say you write 2 to 3 lines of code, find the sum of digits of n, and the answer is x. X is the sum of digits of n. So what I will say? I will say here, return super digit of x. Does it make sense? Giving you an overview outline, right? Encouraging you guys to try it on your own. Making sense or not? See, first of all, you check. If n is a single digit, simply return n as the answer. If n is not a single digit, then find the sum of digits of n. Find the sum of digits of n. How will you find the sum of digits of n? I think you all know how to do it, right? So you write the logic to find the sum of digits of n. Let's say you obtain the sum of digits in a variable n, x, right? And then what you will say? Boss, you have got the sum of digits of n, right? So return super digit of x. That's it. As simple as that, right? If you are finding the super digit of 787, okay, so what do? This is not a single digit number. So what I will do? Find the sum of digits of 787. What is it? It is 22. Then I will say, boss, the answer to SD of 787 is the same as answer to SD of 22. So I will return SD of 22. Is it making sense? Yes? No, how will it return? If you are taking the number as 150, n by 10 will be not 0, boss. N by 10 will be 15. Okay, so it will not terminate. Yeah, you can do Sony like that also. N less than 10. वैसे भी कर सकते हो, ठीक है? But now they have modified the problem here slightly. And they are telling, boss, the numbers are given in the format of string. You have a string and you have an integer k. And the number is this string concatenated 3 times. Okay, so 148 you will place one after the other for 3 times, right? And then you have to run it. So let's say you somehow generate the string. Let's say somehow you generate the string representation of the number. Can anybody help me now with the logic? Super digit you have to find of this string S. Okay, and you will be returning an integer. Can anybody help me? What should be my base case? If what should be my base case? If the length of the string is equal to 1, right? If the string length, if the number string that you are asking, right? If that is equal to 1, uska length 1 hai. So you will convert that string to an integer and return the answer, right? Otherwise, what you will do? You will iterate through that entire string, convert every character to a digit or an integer, right? Add them up. Then what you will do? Convert the number, the integer back into a string and then call SD. Is it making sense, guys? What I'm trying to say? See, what I'm trying to say, let's say somebody gives you 786 as string. Okay. So what is this string? The length of this string is 3, right? So what will I do? I will iterate over this entire string. I will iterate over this entire string and every character, first character is 7, convert it to an integer and add it to a sum. The second character is 8, convert it to an integer, add it to the sum. The third character is 6, convert it into integer, add it to the sum. 7 plus 8 plus 6. What is it? It is 21, right? 21. Then what I will do? I will convert this 21 into a string. And what I will say? I will call super digit of this string 21. Making sense what I'm trying to do? चलो करके बता देता हूँ, ठीक है? Not getting this. See, try to understand what I'm trying to do. I want to find the super digit of string 786. This time you have a string, right? So what do I do? The length of the string is 3, right? The length of the string is 3. Okay. So what do you want to do? I first of all want to find the sum of digits of the number. So what will I do? Okay. What will I do? I will iterate through this string. The first is character 7. Convert the character 7 into an integer and add it to a sum. Then the second character is 8. Okay. Convert this character to an integer, add it to the sum. The third character is 6. Convert it to an integer, add it to the sum. So the sum that you generate is 21. Now what you will do? You will convert this 21 into a string and you will say, boss, SD of 21. Is it making sense? So, yahan tak samajh aa raha hai kya what I'm trying to do? How many of you are understanding what is happening? Yes. Then what? I want to find the super digit for string 21. What is the length? The length is 2, right? So again, I want to find the sum of digits. So what I will do? Again, I will iterate through the string. The first character is 2. Convert it into integer. Add it to a sum. Sum is 2. The second character is 1. Convert it to an integer. Add it to the sum. So my sum becomes 3. Convert this sum to a string and then call SD of 3. Okay. Now what do I say? I see that boss, the string is of a length 1. Okay, so I will return the integer representation of this. So I will convert this into an integer and I will return 3. This will return 3. This will return 3. Getting it? Acha, why not converting entire string to integer? Good question. A good question. Can anybody tell me why I may not want to convert the entire string to an integer once? Let's say if I give you a string like this. If you directly convert it to an integer, it might overflow. It might not fit into an integer variable. And that is the reason this question is giving us strings, right? So you just come to one character, add it to the sum. One character, add it to the sum. So the numbers are becoming small, right? That is what we are trying to do. Okay. Now let's quickly try to code it up and then I'll try. Logic I got, but I don't know I can code. Okay, let's try to see it. Okay, let's try to code it. Okay. मेरे को भी नहीं पता. I am coding it. Let's see. कुछ लगेगा help, will take help from Google, right? But let's try to code it up. Okay. Let's follow. Okay. So what should I first do, guys? First of all, let's make a scanner. See, first of all, I want to prepare the string for which I want to find the super digit. देखो ना, मेरे को input क्या दिया हुआ है? 148 and I have to concatenate it 3 times. So what is the string that I generate? 148, 148, 148. So let us do this job first, right? So first of all, we'll have a scanner. SC is equal to new scanner. And let's take system.in. Okay, so I've taken a scanner first. Okay. Then let us read a string as input. String s is equal to sc.next. I've read the first string. Okay. I have read the first integer as a string, right? Now what will I do? The second is a number k, okay? The first line contains two, no, the first is a string, I will read it as a string. And the second is an integer k. So I need to concatenate the string s k number of times. So let us read this integer also. Int k is equal to sc dot next int. So now what I want to do, I want to concatenate this string sk number of times. So what should I do? I will run a loop. The boss, run a loop for k number of times. So for int I equal to 0, I less than k, I plus plus. So I will run a loop for k times. And what do I do? S plus equal to, ऐसे नहीं करते, रुको, 3 times करना है ना. Okay. So see, you have already taken s as input, which is 148, right? And I want that, अच्छा चलो ऐसे कर लो यार, simple ले लेते हैं, ठीक है? Now string, let's say result is equal to blank, okay? And I want to add this string s. I want to add 148 3 times. So what I will do? I run a loop for k times, and what will I do? Res plus equal to what? S. So what will happen? K number of times I will concatenate the string k. Concatenate the string s. So what will res contain at the end of the day? 148, 148, 148. 3 times 148 will get concatenated. So now you have the string available to you. So what will I do? I call the function. Let us say I will be writing a function super digit. Okay. I call the function super digit, pass it the string s. Oh, sorry, not s, result, right? This is my string that I want to pass res. I pass the string res, and I expect that this will give me the output, which I will be printing. System dot out dot println super digits of res. Okay. Now let's try to code this function super digit. Okay. So public static, what should be my return type? It is a digit, right? So it's a data type is int. Okay. Let's write the name of the function super digit. Okay. And then I will write that boss, this is expecting a string. So I'm getting a string. Let us call that string as num. So it is getting the reference of a string, and let us call it as num. Okay. So it is getting the number in the string format. Okay. So first of all, what do I check? First of all, I check the boss if num dot length, okay, if the length of this string num is equal to 1, that means I am looking at a single digit. Okay. If the length of the string is 1, that means I am looking at a single digit. And I know what will be the answer, right? So what do? I can convert this string into an integer and return it. So how did we convert strings into integer? Integer dot parseInt, right? So I will say return integer dot parseInt num. So I will parse this num as an integer and return this integer to the caller, because that is my base case. Okay. Now, if we are not in the base case, let's say the length of the string num is greater than 1. That means you have multiple digits. So first of all, I need to find the sum of all the digits. So let us make a variable int sum is equal to 0. And now let us find the sum of all the digits that are present in this string num. So what I will do? Let us iterate through this string, right? For int I is equal to 0, I less than num dot length. I will iterate through this string I plus plus. And what is the character? The character is, let's say, char c is equal to num dot char at I. This is the current character, right? And what is this current character at the end of the day? This character is a digit only, right? So how do I convert this character to a digit? How do I convert? Now I'll tell you a very tricky method, right? Or a very interesting method, right? If I do something like this, let's say if I have a character 9, okay, if I have a character 9, okay, if I have a character 9 and I subtract character 0 from it, what do you think you will get? Boss, the ASCII of 0 is, let's say, x. I don't know. The ASCII of 1 is, let's say, x plus 1. ऐसे करके होगा तो समझ रहे हो क्या होगा? If you subtract character 1, ऐसे करते हो ना, 1 minus 0 character, you will get 1 only. Okay. Because if the ASCII of 0 is 32, then the ASCII of 1 is 33. So if I want to convert the character into numeric, I can simply subtract character 0 from it and you will get the answer. Right. So what do? I have this character C, right? And I want to convert it into an integer and add it to the sum. So what I will say? Sum plus equal to, take this character, subtract the character 0. Okay, so you will get the character in numeric representation, add it to the sum. Okay. Now outside this for loop, I have calculated the sum of all the digits of the string. Okay. Now what should I do? What is my answer? Now, first of all, I have to convert this sum back into string. So how do? I will say What is my string of interest? The string of interest is string dot value of, I will convert, okay, the sum of the digits is an integer. Okay, I convert this integer to a string. So now I get the string number and I will say return super digit of this interest string. Okay, that should be good. Let's try to run it first with an example, right? So at least we understand if it is working or not. So 148 3 times. Let's try to run the code and see. The output should be 3. Let us see. 3. Okay, let's try to submit it. Okay, so all the test cases passed, right? So this is working fine, right? So now let us try to, I'll just explain it once again briefly what we have done, and then you can just ask your questions if you have any, right? So first of all, what have I done? I have first of all taken this string as input. Okay, I've taken the string S as input, right? And then I've taken this integer K as input. Now I know that the string that I want to formulate is 148 3 times, one after the other. 148, 148, 148. So first of all, I make a blank string. And what do? I run a loop for K times. And what do? Every time I concatenate S. So the loop will run for 3 times. And what I will add? I will add 148. Then again in the next iteration, I will add the string 148 to res. Then again in the third iteration, I add the string 148 to res. Okay. So at the end of this for loop, res will contain S K number of times added one after the other. Okay. Then what do I know? I know that now this is my final string. So I will just call the super digit function on this string. Okay. Now let us try to write the super digit function. What have I done? Boss, you have to find the super digit of this string. So first of all, I check if the length of the string is 1, that is, it only has 1 digit. And what is the answer? That digit itself, right? Super digit of a 1-digit number is that digit itself. So what do? I convert this string into an integer via integer.parseInt and then return this integer back as the answer, the base case, right? Otherwise, if the length of the string is greater than 1, that means there are multiple digits. So I want to find the sum of all the digits. So I initialize a variable sum equal to 0. Then I iterate through the string. Okay. So when let's say my string is 786. Okay. So I am iterating through the string. I first come at index number 0. What is the character at index 0? The character at index 0 is 7. Okay. So what do? I subtract character 0 from it. Okay. So if the ASCII of 0 is, let's say, 30. Okay. ऐसा मान लेते, मेरे को नहीं पता क्या होता है. But if the ASCII of 0 is 30, then the ASCII of 1 will be 31. ASCII of 2 will be 32. The ASCII of 3 will be 33. Likewise, ASCII of 7 will be 37. So if I subtract character 0 from character 7, what you will get? You will get the output as 7. So you will convert it into a digit. And what do? I add this digit 7 to my sum, which was 0. So now my sum becomes 7. Then you will come to the next character. Again, you will do 8 minus 0. You get the digit 8. You add it to the sum. Sum becomes 15. Then you come to this character 6. Convert it into a digit via this. Okay. Add it to the sum. So now my sum becomes 7 plus 8, 15 plus 6, 21. Now what you have to do? You now need to find the super digit of 21. But definitely my function is expecting strings and not integers. So first of all, I will convert this sum 21 into a string via string.value of. And once you get this string 21, just call the super digit with this string. It will return the answer to you, which you will be returning. Okay. That is what we are trying to do. Okay. Now let's go to the Slido poll once. If I have made it one more. Okay. So how many of you are clear with what is happening, right? Can you just cast your votes here? Let me just copy it so I just get a clear picture of what's happening. Try to do a tracing, right? If you do a tracing on yourself, right, you'll definitely be able to follow it. What exactly is happening? कुछ नहीं कर रहा हूँ, जो integer के साथ किया ना, that same thing I am doing, right? But this time I have strings. So I'll have to convert the string to an integer first and then do the processing, right? Okay. Guys, quickly cast your votes, right? We have a large number of people. So I want folks to cast in their votes, right? So that, we understand the actual demography, right? So that will depend on how much time more we spend on the question. Okay. Great division. Okay. So it's almost equal in all the aspects, right? So I think I'll let you ask questions here then. because 30% is a good number here. Okay. So yeah, guys, you can ask your questions if any questions. Again, explain from line number 25. Okay. What I will do is I will try to take an example, right? Let's take an example and try to do a dry run, right? So that should be able to help you guys. Okay. So let's go back. Where did the question go? Huh. Why is the return? Why return string? I am not returning string. Where am I returning string, dear? It's an integer return type, right? And wherever you are returning, the super digit function is expected to return an integer only. देखो, है ना? तो अभी एक example ले लेते हैं. I'll take a short number only, right? I don't want to do it wrong. So let's say that your input is first of all you get the string s as let's say 7. You get the string s as 7, okay? And you get k is equal to 3. That is, my string will be 777. This 7 added k times, right? Concatenated k times. So what have I done? I have first of all made a blank string. Okay, I have made a blank string. And what have I done? I have run this loop k times. And every time, what have I done? Res plus equal to s. So every time the loop runs, I will add a 7. I will add a 7. I will add the string 7. So at the end of the day, the res will be pointing to a string which is containing 777. And I say, can you find the super digit of this string 777? Okay. 777. Now, this is the string that I have received. So first of all, I check, is the length of this string 1? No, the length of this string is not 1. So I don't know the answer immediately. The length of the string is not 1. So what do? I have to find the sum of digits. But boss, this is a string. This is not a normal, integer. So what do? I iterate over the string. अब देखो ये अलग ही logic है, right? You have to find the sum of digits for this string. So I iterate over the string. For int I equal to 0, I less than string dot length I plus plus. I go till the end. So first of all, I am at index number 0. Okay. What is the character? S dot caret I or num dot caret I. So the character is 7. Now what I'm trying to say, I want to convert this character into integer 7. How do I convert? Let's say if the ASCII code of 0 is 35, then the ASCII code of 1 will be 36. The ASCII code of 2 will be 37. So what I'm trying to say is, if from a given character digit, you subtract the character 0, you will get this character in numeric form. Because see, character 2 minus character 0 is 37 minus 35, that is 2. Okay. So what I say, from character 7, subtract character 0. So the output will be simple digit 7, simple integer 7. And what do? You add it to the sum. So the value of sum will now become 7. Then you move forward. What is the next digit here? Again a 7, right? So again you will extract the character, convert it into an integer, add it to the sum. Sum becomes 14. Again you go, extract this character, convert it into an integer, add it to the sum. So sum becomes 21. Now, what is the super digit of 777? The super digit of 777 is the same as the super digit of 21. So what do? मेरे को पता है, boss, I have to call super digit on 21. But super digit function accepts a string, not an integer. So I have to convert this integer to a string. And how do I convert? String dot value of sum. So I will convert this via string dot value of. So this will be converted to string 21. And then I pass this string to the super digit function. Okay. So what will happen? The super digit of this string 21 will be calculated. Is the length of this string 2? No. So what will happen? You find the sum of all the digits of this string via this same logic. So sum will be 3. And then you will be converting that 3 into a string, and you will call super digit on the string 3. Now, when you call super digit on string 3, it is consisting of a single digit, right? The length of the string is 1. So it will return what? You hit the base case and it will return integer dot parse int num. So it will parse this as an integer. So 3, this will return 3 to the caller. The moment 3 is returned to SD of 21, right? This will also return 3 to its caller. Okay. The moment 3 is returned to, SD of 777, it will also return 3 to the caller. So 3 is returned, and that is what the answer is. Okay. Now is everyone clear? I think I've tried to explain it once again. Let's have a look at the proportions, right? Is everyone clear? Cast in your votes accordingly. Yes. Okay. Another way for line 28. What is line 28? Okay. How to convert a character to a digit, right? I don't know. अब मैं गूगल करना पड़ेगा, ठीक है। अब इसके लिए आप क्या कर सकते हो, कैरेक्टर, कन्वर्ट कैरेक्टर टू इंटीजर इन जावा, ठीक है। You can Google up, ठीक है, there might be functions existing, but I am telling it's, see, character dot get, so you can try this thing. See, the fourth method is subtracting 0, and that is what we have done. So there can be multiple things, right? So you can see it, right? But I would say the best way is you just subtract the character 0, right? Okay, because see now, if the character 0 ka ASCII is x, character 1 ka ASCII will be x plus 1, character 2 ka ASCII will be x plus 2. Okay, so if you subtract any character with 0, then you will get that digit, okay, that character in numeric representation. Yes, if you subtract the character from character, it's an integer, because all the characters are basically nothing but, you know, ASCII numbers. Okay, cool guys. So I think we can move further here. Why pass res instead of num? Why pass res? What's the question? In line 17, why pass res instead of num? First of all, num is not here in the picture, right? Num is not here in the picture only. Where is num? Num to hai nahi. Ya to res pass karoge ya s pass karoge. So you need to pass res, right? See, these two are different contexts. Okay. Where do you use recursion? Boss, you are using recursion now. See, super digit function, within the super digit function, you are calling the same function. That's recursion. Okay. Cool guys. Any other questions, you know, you can discuss with your, you know, friends and try to get yourselves clear. Otherwise, you can, you know, check with me on Discord, or, you know, discuss on the coding doubts channel. That is the best place to get your concerns resolved, right? So I see it's a 70-30 ratio as of now, right? And I expect that, yes, if people do a dry run, right, if you try to write the code and if you try to understand what is happening, you will definitely be able to understand. The key part is to understand this part, how it is working in case of integers, right? And if you are clear with what we are doing for integers, for strings, you have to do similar only. Boss, how did you check if an integer is a single digit? By if n by 10 equal to 0. How will you check if a string is a single digit? By checking the length of the string. The same logic gets translated. Okay, cool. Let's come back to the portal. Any other questions we have here in recursion 1? Let me check out once. Why is everything okay? So we have covered all the 3 questions in the recursion 1 bucket, right? Now let's try to take some different questions, right? Let's go to my notepad and see. So we have done count 7. I have listed down some questions which I wanted to discuss. Questions from portal, at least of recursion 1 we have done. Recursion 2, I'll leave it up for the doubt instructors to take them up, right? Sum of natural numbers we have discussed. This is also done, right? Reverse scenario. Okay, chalo. Let's now do this thing, right? Okay. Okay. Let's try to see how do I reverse an array using recursion, right? This is also an interesting problem. Okay. So first of all, guys, forget about recursion, right? If I have been given an array, let's say you are given an array. Okay. Let's say you have been given an array of integers, right? And I want to reverse the array. That is, I want ki first 5 is present, then 6, then 7, then 8, then 1. I want to reverse the contents of the array. Forget recursion. Can you do it via iteration? Can you do it by iteration? How do you reverse an array? 2-pointer technique? No. If you use a reverse for loop, then you can actually, you need to swap, right? See, what I want to do, basically, I want to get the array contents like this: 5, then 6, then 7, then 8, then 1. Okay. I want to basically, you know, reverse the contents of the array. Okay. Not print it in the reverse fashion. I want to reverse the entire contents, right? So what can I do? The basic method, I'll just try to say, just to make sure that everyone is clear with this, right? So what I will do is, if I ask you, boss, what are we exactly doing? Can we do by rotation of array? That will be an overkill. That will be an overkill, right? There can be many methods to do this, right? But I think I'll just tell the simplest method that I can come up with, right? So what does reversing actually mean? Boss, the first element, देखो guys, when you reverse the array, the element that was present at the first location, now it will come at the last location. And the element that was present at the last place, that will now occur at the first place. So what are we doing? We are swapping the positions of the first and the last element. Okay. Similarly, we will be swapping the positions of the second and the second last element. Dekho na, because when you reverse the array, whatever element was last, that comes at the first. The second last element will come at the second position. The third last element will come at the third position. Okay. This fourth last element will come at the fourth position. Okay. And you know, this first element will come at the last position. So what are we actually doing? The actual thing is, what we are doing is, we are swapping 1 with 5. Okay, the first and the last element gets swapped. We are swapping 8 with 6. 8 and 6 get swapped. And we are swapping 7 with itself. Something like this, right? And you see that the contents will get reversed. If you swap 1 and 5, you will see 5 comes here, 1 goes here. If you swap 8 and 6, you will see 6 comes here, 8 comes here. If you swap 7 with itself, 7 remains here. And is it not the reverse? See, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1. Okay. Similarly, if you take an even sized array, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. What are you doing? You swap the first and the last element, and you swap the second and the third element. That's it. So what will happen? 4, 1, 3, 2. That's a reversal, right? So how we generally reverse an array is, we generally adopt the 2-pointer technique, right? Or you can do it using 1 pointer also, that is also fine. But how I generally do it like this. See, let's say I have an array. Okay. So what do? I take a pointer I here. I initialize a variable I equal to 0. This is a pointer. And I take a variable j here. This will be equal to n minus 1. Okay. That is, j will be pointing at the last index and I will be pointing at the, starting index of the array. So what do? Boss, I will say while I is less than j. Okay. While I is less than j. What do? See, I is pointing at index 0 and j is pointing at index n minus 1. So I is less than j. So what do? I swap ARR of I with ARR of j. So I will swap 5 with 1. Okay. And then what I will do? I will move I forward and I will move j backward. Right. Now I want to swap this element with this element. Is I less than j? Yes, I is at index 1 and j is at index, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So index number 4. Okay. So definitely I is less than j. Right. So what I will do? Again, I will swap ARR of I with ARR of j. So 4 comes here, 2 goes here. Then again, you do a I plus plus and a j minus minus. Now this time, is I less than j? No, I is not less than j because they are at equal indexes. Okay, index number 2. So you will stop and you say, boss, my array has been reversed. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. And for an even case, how does it work? Let's say my array is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So you initialize I at index 0. You initialize j at index number 5. Okay. Now I is less than j. Yes, 0 is less than 5. So swap ARR of I with ARR of j. So 6 comes here, 1 goes here. Then what I will do? I will do a I plus plus and a j minus 1. So I comes at index 1. J goes at index number 4. Okay. Is I less than j? Yes. So again, do a swapping. 5 comes here, 2 goes here. Okay. Do a I plus plus, do a j minus minus. Okay. Now I is at index number 2, j is at index number 3. I is less than j? Yes, 2 is less than 3. So again, I will perform a swapping. 4 comes here, 3 comes here. Then do I plus plus and j minus minus. The moment you do a I plus plus and a j minus minus, you will see that the I value becomes greater than j. I is at index number 3 and j is at index number 2. So the moment I becomes greater than j, you will stop and you will say, boss, your array has been reversed. Okay. So the general code seems like this. While I is less than j, what do? I simply swap ARR of I with ARR of j. And then I will do a I plus plus. I will do a j minus minus. Okay. And you will initialize I with 0 and j with n minus 1. Is everyone clear with how to reverse an array iteratively? पता चला iterative में confusion है and recursive में तो फिर क्या ही समझ आएगा है ना? अच्छा, can anybody help me with the time complexity of this reversing an array? Can anybody help me? How many precise number of operations? Around approximately n by 2 operations, right? N by 2 precise operations. So it is big O of n by 2 or big O of n. Okay. So this is big O of n. And what is the space? Space complexity is constant because you are not using any extra space. Now let us try to attempt this same question, via recursion. Okay. Now, first of all, let us try to understand why can it be even done with recursion, right? How can I break it up into smaller subproblems? Okay. तो मैं क्या बोलता हूँ बॉस, try to understand and you will understand here. Let's say you have an array like this. Okay, here you have a pointer I and here you have a pointer j, and I tell you, boss, hey Adarsh, can you please reverse the array from index I till index j? So this is the part of the array from index I till index j, from index I till index j, and I want to reverse this part of the array. तो मैं तुमको पता है क्या बोलता हूँ, boss, this is a complex task, but you know what, I and j are both correct, right? I is less than j. So what I will do is I will swap ARR of I with ARR of j. I say, hey, you want to reverse this entire array, right? So swap ARR of I with ARR of j. Swap these two elements. And then I say, boss, now can you reverse this smaller part of the array from index I plus 1 till index j minus 1 for me? मैं क्या बोल, boss, try to understand. If you want to reverse this entire array now, what do I say? You swap, let's say you want to reverse this entire array from index I till index j. So I swap the elements at index I and j, and then I say, can you reverse the remaining part, the smaller part of the array from index I plus 1 till index j minus 1. See, that is what we are trying to do, right? If you are saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I say, boss, swap 1 and 5. 5 comes here, 1 goes here. And then I say, can you now please reverse this part of the array 2, 3, 4? So when you reverse this part of the array to 4, 3, 2, see the entire big array gets sorted, reversed, right? Is it making sense? The breaking up into sub problems. If I want to sort the entire array from index I till j, can I say, I shared it up. I'll follow up. Maybe I think, we are running. I'll share the notes, right? So if I want to reverse this entire array from index I till index j, what will I do? I say swap the contents of I and j and then reverse the smaller part of the array, okay, from index I plus 1 till index j minus 1. Okay. No. Reversing can be done in any array. Why sorted array? Sorting का कोई भी picture भी नहीं है कुछ बात, है ना? So now let us try to figure out what should be the base case if I equal to j. चलो ठीक है, let's try to figure out, right? So I will be trying to make a function public static, and the name of the function will be reverse. Okay, it will take the reference of an integer array. Okay, and how many pointers it should take? It will take 2 integers. Let's call it as int I and int j. And the job of this is to reverse the array from index I till index j. Reverse this entire array from index I till j. Can anybody help me with the return type? I am making changes in the array. What would be the return type? Void? Yes, because you are making changes in the array, right? So the return type is void. Now, what do I say? Forget about the base case for the time being. We'll see. Okay. Could be int also, correct, but could be void also. So I'll prefer using void here, right? So now you have to reverse the entire array from index I till index j. So what do I do? Forget base case for the time being, right? So what do I do? First of all, I will write the boss, swap the contents at ARR of I, ARR of j. Swap the contents at index I and j. These two are getting swapped, right? Now what I will say, after swapping these two, the part is, can you reverse this smaller part of the array for me? So I will say, okay, now let us call the reverse function and ask is, hey reverse, can you reverse array ARR starting from index I plus 1 till index j minus 1? Okay, so now you will expect that this function works magically. This will reverse this part of the array. Okay, this part of the array is reversed and you have swapped I and j contents. So the entire array from index I till index j is reversed, right? Now let us try to think of the base case, right? And we will try to come up with the base case via examples. Okay, so let's say, no, swap is not an inbuilt. I'm writing pseudocode, right? So let's say we have taken an even sized array. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I will call reverse on ARR comma. Can you tell me the value of I and j that you call reverse on? Can you tell me the values of I and j that you call reverse on from the main method? I want to reverse this entire array from index 0 till index number 3. So from main, I will call from 0 till length minus 1. Correct. Okay. So this is called, right? Now this context starts running. Now what will happen? देखते हैं, ठीक है. अभी फिलहाल think of it like your I is here and your j is here. Okay, in this function context. Now what we will do? I will swap. Okay. So see guys, if I is less than j, then only you will do a swapping. Okay. So देखो, I is less than j, so I do a swapping. So I will swap. So 4 comes here and 3 goes here. And then what I will do? I will call a reverse. Boss, can you reverse array ARR from index 1 till index 2. Okay. From I was 0, so I plus 1 is 1 till j minus 1, that is 2. So can you now reverse this part of the array? Now this function starts running. See, what is the value of I in this context? 1. And what is the value of j in this context? 2. So is I less than j? Definitely. So I will swap ARR of 1 with ARR of 2. So 3 comes here, 2 goes here. Swap kar diya. Now what I will say, swap. Now I will say, can you reverse the part of the array from index I plus 1, okay, to index j minus 1. Okay. Can you reverse the array from index 2 to 1? And now do you see the problem? The starting index is greater than the ending index. So you just have to return. Job done, job done, job done. So I can be greater than j also. See guys, try to understand. In even sized array, I and j will never be equal. They will swap each other. Dekho, for an even sized array, first I is here, j is here. Then I comes here, j comes here. Then they will interchange. So I will never be equal to j. So if you write the base case just like this, you will run into stack overflow error or runtime error for even sized array. So my base case should be, if I is greater than or equal to j, then you simply return. Don't even do anything. Making sense? समझ आ रहा है? Yes? Okay. So let's code it up on online GDB and try to understand. Y equal to. Okay. If you want, you can remove this equality also. That is also fine, right? See, in case of odd sized array, okay, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So I will call reverse first on index 0, 4. Okay. I will do a swapping. 5 comes here, 1 comes here. And then I will call reverse on 1, 3. I will do a swapping. 4 comes here, 2 comes here. And then I will call a reverse on 2, 2, right? Now, if I and j are both the same, right? You are looking at a single element, right? So you can simply return, right? If you swap 3 with itself, that is also fine. And if you return, that is also fine. So your base case can be any one of these. If I greater than j, that is also fine. Or if I greater than equal to j, that is also fine. Any one of these can be made the base case, right? Okay, cool. If you make I greater than j, that is also fine now, because for ref 2, 2, you will swap this 3 with itself, and then you will call it on ref 3, 1, I plus 1, j minus 1. So this will return. Okay. Now let's quickly code it up. Acha guys, can you help me? What is the time complexity of recursion? How many function calls are you making? N by 2 function calls? Yes. Again, N by 2 function calls only, right? And in every function call, you are doing just a swap operation. That is big O of 1. So it is big O of N by 2. But what will be the space complexity? There will be N by 2 function calls. So the space complexity is also of the order of N. Okay. Let us move further. Let's code in online GDB. It's 10 o'clock, right? So we have 1 more hour. So at least, yeah. Let's code it up, right? So let's write public static void. Okay. So what is my function name? Reverse. Okay. Please write swap function separately. It's a request. So you want to create a separate function for swapping. Is it like that? Okay. Oh, ठीक है, वो भी कर सकते हो, ठीक है, but उसमें ना अभी प्रॉब्लम ये आएगा अपने को कि बेसिकली you have to make an array and try to do it like that, okay, because these are primitive variables ना, so that will create problems, okay. So think of it, ठीक है, एक बार सोचो, but don't necessarily do it, right? Don't necessarily complicate things, because swap is क्या 3 lines of code, right? So you can write, right? But yeah, if you want to change, then definitely you will have to try to make the use of an array. You have to return an array and then reassign the values in the main. Okay. If you want, I can show you later, but it's not really needed at this point of time. Focus on the major, important flow, that is understanding recursion. Okay. So public static void reverse, let's say int ARR. Okay. And what it will get 2 indices. That is, I want to reverse the part of the array ARR from index I till index j inclusive. I want to reverse this part of the array. So what is my base case, guys? What is the base case? If the value of I becomes greater than j. And see, guys, this is where if you are clear with iteration, it helps. See, in iteration, what had we done? While I is less than j, that is where we were doing the work. So where did we stop? The moment I became greater than equal to j, we stopped. right? I'll give you a break. I'll give you a break. So that is what is the base case. If I is greater than or equal to j, you don't have to do anything, right? Simply return, job done. Simply return, job done. Okay. Now, if I is not greater than, if that means if you come here, that means I is less than j. So what do I have to do? I have to swap. So let us swap the code. So let's take a temporary variable is equal to ARR of I. Then what I will do, ARR of I is equal to ARR of j. Then what I will do, ARR of j is equal to temp. Okay. So I have swapped the variables. I've swapped the two variables. Then what I will do after swapping, now I want to reverse the part of the array from index I plus 1 till index j minus 1. So I will call the reverse function. Hey, reverse function, can you reverse the part of the array ARR from index I plus 1 till index j minus 1? Okay. So this will work. Reverse the part of the array from I plus 1 till j minus 1. And you have already swapped the error of I with the error of j. So the entire array from index I till index j has been reversed. Okay. So you might write a return. You might not write a return here. That is up to you. Okay. Now let us try to see if it is working fine. Let's take an array. Let's take it 8, 7, 8, 9, 10, 54. Okay. And let's say I am calling reverse. And how should I call the reverse function? ARR, comma. Can you reverse the entire array from index 0 till what is the last index? ARR dot length minus 1. Okay. Now what I will do after reversing, I will print the contents. Let's convert the array to string, right? And print it once and for all. Okay. Let's try to run it and see if it's working fine. Okay, cool. Is it clear to everyone what's happening? Yes, clear. कुछ नहीं कर रहे, पहले बेस केस चेक कर रहे हो, then you swap the elements at I and j and then you call the reverse function. कि boss, I have swapped the elements at index number I and j. Now can you please swap the can you reverse the part of the array from index I plus 1 till j minus 1. Line number 25. Array, this is a function call. See na, try to understand. Try to understand. Yes, it is best to compare. I'll explain. See, try to understand, guys, right? See what is happening. Let's take a very simple array 1, 2, 3. I want to reverse it, right? So I call, can you thoda zyada bada le lo. Why convert to string? Because I don't want to print using loops, right? It takes some time to write the code for that, right? Okay. So same. So how the space complexity will be big over? Okay. First of all, I will ask somebody how it is exactly working. Let us try to trace it. ठीक है, एक बार trace करते हैं. फिर मैं ही तुम लोग से पूछूंगा how space complexity is big O of n. So first of all, you call the reverse function. You call the reverse function. Okay. On 0,4. Okay. Now this context is running. Let's say the reverse context for 0,4 is running. Okay. Is I greater than equal to j? No. Okay. So what do? I swap ARR of I with ARR of j. So what will happen? 5 comes here, 1 goes here. Okay. Now guys tell me, once you have swapped these two elements, can I say now you have to reverse this part? देखो ना, 5 और 1 तो हो गया सही. Now if you can reverse this part of the array from index 1 till 3, what you will get? 4, 3, 2. And what is the entire array then? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. नहीं हो जाएगा. बॉस अगर पूरा array reverse करना है, just swap this 5 and 1 and then it is simply reverse this part of the array. है ना? So that is what I am doing. Now I am making a call to, from here, I am making a call to reverse 1, 3. Can you reverse the part of the array from index 1 till index 3? And the moment I make this context gets paused here and a new context will be created from reverse index 1 to 3. ठीक है? अब क्या होगा? Again, I is less than j in this context. The new context ref 0,3. Right? So what I will do? First of all, I will swap the context of ARR of 1, 3. Right? So 4 comes here, 2 goes here. Okay. And now I will say, can you reverse the part of the array from index 2 till index 2? So when 2, 2 gets called, this context will be paused. A new context is created for reverse 2, 2. Now this is a base case. So you will return. The moment you return from here, you start playing here. There is no next line, return. Play from here. There is no next line, return. See, the entire array is sorted. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Making sense, guys? And why is the space complexity big O of n? Because you are having n by 2 function calls in the stack, right? So in the worst case, there will be n by 2 function contexts in the stack. Okay. 13, 14 is nothing. 14 is just a way of converting the array to string and printing. Okay. And 13 is you want to reverse the entire array, right? So you are saying, boss, can you reverse the array from index 0 till the last index, which is index number n minus 1. So this will reverse the entire array for you. And once the reversal has been done, I have converted the array to a string and printed it out. Okay. Yeah. So guys, now it's a break of, we'll resume at 10:10, right? 7 minutes break. We'll resume at 10:10. Okay. Cool. Why convert array to string? Just so that I can print it in one line, right? If you don't want to convert, don't convert, right? You can always write a for loop and print the array. I don't have a problem with that, right? In order to save some of my time, I just convert it to a string and do. Okay. Why line 19 only return? What is the return type? What is the return type? The return type is void, right? That is why. क्योंकि जब I greater than equal to j हो गया ना, your job is done. Your job is done. Okay. So you can simply return. Okay. No doubt session today, Shraddha. Yeah, I'll stop the chat and give break. Otherwise, questions keep on coming, right? To check if a string is palindrome, right? You have to try it yourself, right? So everybody knows what is a palindrome, and I am hoping that you know how to check if a string is palindrome or not using the iterative code, right? Now you have to write a recursive function. Okay, you have to write a recursive function that will take a string as input and it will return a boolean, right? It will return a true if the string is a palindrome, else it will return a false. So this you will be trying as homework, right? It's pretty similar to the array ones, okay? So you can have a stab at it and try it yourself, right? So in the remaining 50 minutes, first of all, I'll be discussing this sum of digits of a number. It's also a basic question. Then someone was asking, how do you print the entire Fibonacci series, right? So there are two ways using recursion which you can do it, right? I will tell you a very simple way, right? And not go into the complicated way because that actually takes use of memoization, right? So if somebody is more interested, we can discuss it towards the later when we finish up with our course, right? But definitely, I think the second way is a little bit more, DP oriented. So I'll not go into that at this point of time. And after this, we'll try to take number of ways to reach the top. Okay. I just have to discuss the logic with you because code we have already done it unknowingly. Okay. So let's get started and, quickly try to use the last 50 minutes of our class in the best way possible, right? So, yeah. So let's get started with the sum of digits of a number, right? And I won't be writing code now. Okay. I'll ask you guys to, take up the bait and try to write the code, right? But I'll try to discuss the algorithm. If you want, I can write the code also. I'll write it in PPT. But yeah, final code writing, you will be doing it. Okay. So what is the question? The question is basically you have an integer n. Okay. You have an integer n. Okay. Let's say the integer is 789. So you have to find the sum of digits of the number, as simple as that, but using recursion. Okay. So your output should be 7 plus 8 is 15, 15 plus 9 is 24. So your output should be 24, but you have to recursively find the sum of digits of the number. Okay. Is the question clear to everyone? You have an integer, you just have to find the sum of digits of the, the sum of all the digits of this number and you have to return the sum as the output, right? But you have to do this thing recursively. So can anybody come up with the recurrence relation? Let's see. Can anybody come up with the recurrence relation? Yeah, I'll explain logic only. Can anybody come up with a recurrence relation or something like that? See, what do I tell you? I tell you, boss, you have to find the sum of digits of, this number 789. Okay, this is n. So what do I see? I see that, let's say n is not 0, right? N is not 0. So what will I say? I will say, boss, the sum of this digit 789 is nothing but 9 plus the sum of digits of 78. Do you agree? It is, see, the sum of digits of 789 is nothing but 9 plus sum of the digits of 78. Enough. And what is the sum of digits of 78? It is nothing but 7 plus sum of digits of 8. What is sum of digits of 8? 8 plus sum of digits of 0. Okay. What is sum of digits of 0? 0. So 8 plus 0 is 8. 7 plus 8 is 15. 15 plus 9 is 24. So this will return the output as 24. Okay. Yes. So what we are going to do? Yeah, that is also correct, Chirag. If n by 10 equal to 0, you can return n. That is also a correct base case, right? So whatever you are more comfortable with, right? So I will write a function like this, sum of digits, right? It is taking an integer n. Okay. So if chalo Chirag wala hi lete. If n by 10 equal to 0, what does this mean? That n is a single digit. N is a single digit. So what will be the sum of that single digit? Return n. Does everyone agree? Does everyone agree with this? You can have either this base case or you can also have this base case. If n equal to 0, return 0. That is also fine. Any one of the base cases will work fine, right? Now, so if n by 10 equal to 0, you are returning n. Now, if I am not at the base case, that means I have more than one digit in my number. So what I will do? I extract the last digit. What is the last digit? The last digit is n percentage 10. So take this last digit, add it with what? Add it with the sum of digits of the remaining number. And what is the remaining number? N by 10. So मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ? 789 का निकालना है. So the sum of digits of 789 is nothing but n percentage 10 is 9. So 9 plus find the sum of digits of 78. So the sum of digits of 78 will be 15. 15 plus 9 will be 24. And 24 will be returned as the output of f of 789. Is this making sense, guys? Done. Put us a code. Making sense? How many of you are understanding this part? Very simple. Nothing. We have already discussed this type. Right? Okay, cool. So that is why I took it for the first time, right? And, not. Cool. So now let's quickly, if you want, I can show it in the code. Okay. So I'm expecting that you guys can try it up on your GDB, right? Where we need to use recursion, where you can break the problem into smaller sub-problems, right? There you can employ recursion. Intent function can be simply returned without any value. No, how can you return? Never. Cool. So now let us come to this. Somebody was asking me yesterday how to print a Fibonacci series using recursion. See, the thing is, if you want to print the entire Fibonacci series using recursion, right? There is, see, the one basic thing that you will understand is, no, module 1 is not yet finished. Module 1, we are left with merge sort and quick sort, right? The two theoretical topics are left, merge sort and quick sort. And after this, we are done with the theoretical topics, and then we'll only do 2 classes of problem solving, right? By this week's end, you should be understanding that, yes, more or less, we will be done, right? And then only it's problem solving. Binary search is in module 2. Okay. Cool. Yes. So Vamsi is correct, right? So one way, if somebody asks me to print a Fibonacci series using recursion, right? Switch case baat kara dunga. Okay. So a very simple way can be, you just run a for loop in your main method, right? Will recursion come in module 1 test? Okay. I don't know. Can be, cannot be. Generally, it doesn't come. Collections module 2. Okay. So in 10, let's say 5. Okay. So I want to print the first 5 terms. What kind of questions do we use it recursively? You will see, Anamor, you will see it later in the course, right? When we go to DP, there you will understand it. Okay. Abhi मैं उतना tough questions पे जाना नहीं चाह रहा हूँ, because Otherwise, you guys will panic. Okay. So I don't want to go into much difficult questions at this point of time. Okay. But yeah, you will see later in the course when you go to DP now, heavily recursion is used. Okay. So let's say I want to write, I want to print the first 5 terms of Fibonacci. So what I can do? I can just run a loop for int I equal to 0, or let's say I equal to 1, I less than equal to n, I plus plus. Okay. And then I can say, you know what? I can just make a call to fib of n. So it will give me the nth Fibonacci term. So I can print like this, print ln the ith, right? So the ith term is fib of n. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? See, this is one way, right? This is one way of printing the entire Fibonacci series till the nth term, right? So every time, for every value of I, say for I equal to 1, you make a call to fib of 1, you get the first term and you print it. For I equal to 2, you make a call to fib of 2, get the second term printed. Likewise, right? And the fib function internally uses recursion to get the nth Fibonacci term. So this is one way in which you can print the entire Fibonacci series, right? Now, if you ask me, nahi Adarsh, I just want to write one function. Okay. I just want to write one function fib of n. Run it. It is very simple, Naeem. Just write a fib function and just do, right? So the fib function is called for different values, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And when it is called for 1, you get the first term. When it is called for 2, you get the second term. When it is called for 3, you get the third term. And then you print those terms. Okay, simple. Cool. Now, if you ask me, hey, others, no, I don't want to do like this. I want to do like this. I want to write a fib print function. Let's say a function fib print. And if somebody calls this like int n, I want to print the first n terms of Fibonacci. I just want to call fib print of n from main and I want to print it. So this at this point of time will be a little bit tricky for you all, right? So I had done this question before, coming to the class, I saw it, right? I understood that some people were having, and you will have problems, right? Because this will employ a little bit of dynamic, memoization kind of thing. So at this point of time, you can skip this. देखो यहाँ पे मैंने जो code लिखा है ना, in this, when I call print fib na, I pass n. Forget ARR for the time being. When I pass n na, it will print the first n terms of the Fibonacci to me. But this is beyond the current scope of our discussion, right? So whenever if somebody asks you to print the entire Fibonacci, if some देखो यहाँ पे भी what has happened? Term 2, term 1, थोड़ा सा अलग format में. I will have to check, right? But this type of assumption is beyond our scope at this point of time. So if somebody asks you to print the Fibonacci series or print the n Fibonacci terms, then you do like this. This is a very basic way, right? So you just write the fib function normally as we have discussed and write a for loop in the main method and call the fib function for different values of n. Okay. When you discuss more about memoization DP, then I will try to make you guys understand how to print the Fibonacci series, right? If you want to get the first n terms or like that. Okay. Cool. So the second part has also been done. ये बताना था एक बार बता दिया. Now let's come to question number 3. That's a lead code question, right? Let's go to lead code. And here we are more interested in understanding the logic. Okay. I'll not be coding it up. Coding you will be doing. It's simple code. Let's come to problems. See, lead code is a good site. Right. And you can solve problems here a little bit. After module 1, you can start trying to take up easy level questions at least, right? Class is still 11. Just give me 1 second. Where is this thing? Fib complete तो करा दीजिए. Fib आप complete करेंगे, मैं नहीं. Okay. Fib already we have done 2 times. Okay. I'm not writing that same code for the 3rd time. Okay. No, Deepak, fib of n is not predefined, guys. I just assume that you understand, right? Fib of n, you have to write this fib function that we have written, right? Okay. Cool. Okay. So let's come to the question. What was the name of the question? Climb stairs. Okay. Yeah, काफी time से solve कर रहा हूँ, guys. Like it's 2 years of effort, I would say. 2 years consistent. अब उतना consistently नहीं हो पाता, but yeah, when I was doing that was like around 2 years of good work. How to use lead code? Yes. Okay. So let me just tell you 5 minutes how to use lead code, right? So in lead code, like when you open lead code, right? First of all, you have to create a profile, right? Then when you click on the problems tab now, there will be multiple problems listed. सारे problems list हो जाएंगे. If you want to see the problems topic wise, you can also do that. There is, you will see if you down, you will see there are topic wise questions. So you click on the topic and all the questions related to that topic will be shown, right? Let's say I click on array. So all the questions related to, array is being shown, right? Now, what if you want to sort in terms of easy, medium, and hard, right? Lead code has 3 category of questions: easy, medium, and hard, right? And generally, I focused on the medium problems more. So it is easy and medium. If you are able to do easy and medium, that is fine, right? So what you want to do, you want to sort via difficulty, okay? And start attempting the easy questions or the medium questions, right? Pehle easy se start karo, then medium, right? But the other interesting part is, let's say I have decided that I want to solve this question, okay? So you can see that there are certain number of upvotes versus downvotes, right? 13,800 people have upvoted this question and 400 people have downvoted this question, right? That means this is a good question. There are so many upvotes versus so few downvotes, right? So this is a good question and this is very basic and necessary for you to understand new concepts. So important question hai, acha question hai, right? So you read up the question and in lead code, you just have to complete the functions. You don't have to worry about taking inputs, printing to the screen. No, nothing of that sort. You have been given a function, okay? You have been given an input and you just have to return the output, which is an integer data type, okay? Acha. Now, let's say you solve the question, okay? You solve the question correctly. Even then, I will recommend to you, go to the discuss section, okay? Every question has a discuss section, right? And inside the discuss section, what will happen? You can sort the answer by most votes, right? And if you look at the most voted answer now, generally you can read up the first 2 or 3 articles, right? The first article, people have explained the question very beautifully, right? Lead code has a very good discuss section and people try to explain it very beautifully. So even if you do a question now yourself, my suggestion will be always come to the discuss section and try to look here also, because you will definitely get some more intuition and more insights. Okay. Okay. Let's come to this, right? So you have seen the article and basically it's a Fibonacci. Okay. How to create a profile. Dekho, mail se hoga login. Long time, I don't remember, right? So yeah, so basically this function is a Fibonacci only, this question, right? So code we will not be writing, code you will be writing yourselves. But let us try to, read the question and try to understand how do we come up with the logic of this question, right? Okay. Which site is good, GFG or Python? See, it depends on the comfort of the person. Okay. It depends on the comfort of the person, right? I found lead code very helpful for me. You might find HackerRank or you might find Geek for Geeks more helpful. It depends on people to people, right? I personally like lead code. So that's a personal preference. But okay. This question is in gym section also. Great. So you are climbing a staircase. Okay. हाँ, इसमें कई बार ऐसे concept. That's correct, Deepak. That is why I'm telling now. Don't come to lead code at this point of time. Wait for module 1, module 2. जैसे ही तुम लोग module 2 में जाओगे ना, you will learn about linked lists. And once you are done with linked lists, then start solving problems on linked lists. So module 2 is the correct place where you approach lead code. Okay. Cool. So let's read at this question, right? You are climbing a staircase. It takes n steps to reach the top. Each time you can either climb 1 stair or you can climb 2 steps. In how many distinct ways can you reach the top? Okay. So basically kya hai? There is a staircase given and you are a person who want to reach the top of the staircase. Top of the staircase tak pahunchna hai. And in every time, either you can take 1 step or you can jump 2 steps at a time, right? 2 se zyada nahi kar sakte because you are not a Superman. And if you try to jump more than 2 steps, you will fall down, right? So given that you can either take 1 step or you can take 2 steps at a time, the question is asking you, in how many distinct ways can you reach to the top? In how many distinct ways can you reach to the top? Let me give an example in order to better understand. N equal to 2. What does n equal to 2 mean? N equal to 2 means you have 2 steps, right? Let me draw the steps. So let's say this is step number 1. Okay. This is step number 1. And this is step number 2, right? So this is my first step, writing here step number 1. This is step number 1 and this is step number 2. So there are 2 steps, right? And you want to reach at the top of the step. And where are you standing? You are standing here. Let's say you are standing here. So I am asking you, in how many ways can you reach to the top? So one way of reaching will be, you take 1 step and you reach step number 1. Then you take another 1 step, you reach to step number 2. So yes. So let's say I am starting from 0, right? So from 0, you can go to step number 1. From step number 1, you can go to step number 2. Is this a valid way of reaching to the top? Is this a valid way of reaching to the top? Yes, this is a valid way, right? Now, what can be another way of reaching to the top? Let's say you are in a hurry, right? And you have this superpower of taking 2 steps at a time, right? So from 0, you directly jump 2 steps and you reach at the top. This can be another method, right? This is also a correct way of reaching to the top. Is there any other way possible to reach to the top? No. So for n equal to 2, my output will be 2. Boss, there are 2 ways to climb to the top. Either you take 1 plus 1 step, or you take 2 steps at a time and you reach to the top. Is this input output clear? These are the 2 paths. 2 paths. Making sense, guys, this one? Yes. Let's take a look at n equal to 3 for even better understanding, right? 1 second, rukna. Just 1 sec. N equal to 8 थोड़ा ज़्यादा हो जाएगा. Okay. Let's look at n equal to 3. Okay. So 1 step. Sir, मैं तो एक बार में 4 step. That's great. But in the question, you are not allowed. So let's say अब मैं n equal to 4 कर दिया. इस देखते देखते chat में. Anyways, let's go to n equal to 3. 3. Okay, there are 3 steps and you are standing here and you want to reach to the top. Okay. Let us try to see what are the possible ways. What is one possible way? 1 step, 1 step, 1 step. So can I say this is the correct way? From 0, you go to step number 1, step number 2, then step number 3. Okay. So this is the first one, first way. What can be another way? You take a jump of 2 steps, you reach here, and then you take 1 step and you reach here. So from 0, you jump 2 steps, then you take a single step. This is also a correct path. Do you agree? This is another way. And there can be one more way, guys. You take 1 step and then from here you take a jump of 2 steps. So from 0, you go to step number 1. From step number 1, you go to step number 3. Is there any other way of reaching at the top of step number 3? No, na? There's no other way. Soch ke dekho. So there are 3 distinct ways. 1 way, 2 way, 3 way. There are 3 distinct ways in which you can reach the top. So that is what is the question. Boss, you have been given the input of n. You have to climb these many number of steps. You have to reach at the top of the nth step. And you can either take 1 step or 2 steps at a time. So what is the number of distinct ways in which you can reach to the top? Is the question clear to everyone? Yes? Fine? Okay. Okay. Now let's try to, figure out the logic. Okay. Let's try to figure out the logic. Okay. Let's go to the PPT. Okay, guys, so what I'm telling, code sir, code क्यों भाई पहले logic समझो, code करके क्या होगा? Important part is the logic first, right? So let's say I am telling you one fact, right? Let's say that you have a staircase, right? And this is the nth step. This is the nth step that you want to reach. अब guys, मेरे को एक चीज बताओ, think very carefully and tell me. If your final goal is to reach step number n. Your final goal is to reach step number n. Now, from where can you come to step number n? What can be this last step that you are at? What can be this last step that you are at? Either, मैं क्या बोलता हूँ? Either you will be at step number n minus 1 and then you will take a single step to reach here, or you will be at step number n minus 2 and you will take a double step jump to reach here. Do you agree? मान लो मेरे को 5th step पे पहुंचना है. So either you will be coming from the 4th step or you will be coming from the 3rd step. There is no other option apart from this. Do you all agree with me? If you have to come to the 5th step, तो इसके immediately पहले either you will be at step number 4 and take a 1 step jump, or you will be at step number 3 and take a 2 step jump. You cannot be anywhere else if you want to come to step number 5. So either you come to step number n minus 1 and take a 1 step jump, or you come to step number n minus 2 and take a 2 step jump. Okay. No. Here there is not this thing, right? Jump of 2 steps will be best of time complexity. It's nothing like that here, right? I have to count the number of distinct ways, right? So you have to evaluate all the possible, combination. Okay. Now I am telling you, boss, let's say for your understanding, let's label the steps like this. क्या हो रहा है? This is A, B, C, D, E, F. ठीक है? So my ultimate goal is to reach step number F. Okay? My ultimate goal is to reach step number F. So from which two steps you will be coming from? तो क्या मैं बोल सकता हूँ, बॉस, if your end goal is step number F, either you will be coming from step number E or you will be coming from step number D. These are the two only possible options. Either you are at step number E and you take a one step and reach here, or you are at step number D and you take a two steps to reach here. Now, I ask you one thing. I give you one small information. मैं क्या बोलता हूँ, boss? You have to find the number of ways to reach step number F now. And what do I know? You can reach step number E and take one step, right? So I ask you, can you tell me the number of ways in which you can reach step number E? Okay. And let us say that there are, I am just writing like this. I am not sure, right? Just writing like this. Let's say I tell you, boss, there are 4 different ways. मैं तुमको क्या बोलता हूँ, boss? I have to compute in how many distinct ways you can reach to step number F. And I know that, boss, either you will be coming from step number E or you will be coming from step number D. You cannot come from any other step. ठीक है? F के just पहले या तो तुम step E पे रहोगे या तो तुम step D पे रहोगे. इन दोनों के अलावा तुम और कहीं नहीं रह सकते. Right? So if I tell you, boss, there are 4 different ways. Let's assume, right? There are 4 distinct ways in which you can reach step number E. If I tell you, boss, there are 4 distinct ways in which you can reach step number E, then can I tell you, boss, in these 4 ways itself, after you reach step number E, you just take a one step jump and you reach step number F. So can I say there are 4 distinct ways in which you can reach step number F if you are coming from E? सोच के बताओ. D के बाद direct B पे जा सकते हैं? No, you can move forward, not backward, right? See what I'm trying to say. If I tell you, boss, there are 4 distinct ways in which you can reach step number E. तो मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ? In each of these 4 distinct ways only ना, I will take a one step jump from E and I will reach step number F. So can I say there are 4 distinct ways of reaching step number F if you are coming from step number E? If you are coming from step number E, then there are 4 distinct ways of reaching step number F. Make sense? But you can also come from step number D. So मैं बोलता हूँ, let us find in how many distinct ways I can reach step number D. So let's say this is one path. Let's say, this is another path. Okay. And let's say this is another path. So I am telling, boss, in 3 distinct ways I can reach step number D. So what do I tell you? Boss, in these 3 distinct ways, I can take a double step jump from D and I can reach step number F. So can I say in 3 distinct ways you can reach step F if you are coming from D? Making sense? Yes. I'm just giving you an example, right? I am telling you, I am not counting exactly. अभी मैं पूरा exact count नहीं कर रहा हूँ. What I am trying to tell is, देखो ध्यान से सुनो. मैं बता रहा हूँ, boss, you have certain number of stairs, right? Let's say this is step number A, step number B, C, D, E. Okay. So what I'm telling, my end goal is to reach step number E. ठीक है? मेरे को क्या count करना है? I have to count the number of ways in which you can reach step number E. So let's say one step will be from A to B to C to D to E. Okay. Another step will be from A to B to D to E. Okay. Another step will be from A to C to D to E. Okay. Any other steps that we can think of? How do I reach D? A से C पहुंचे, C से D चले गए, A to B, B to C, B to D. Yeah, that's A, B, C, E. पर ठीक है, C अभी देखो. अच्छा, are these 3 valid ways of reaching step number E? And guys, what I am trying to tell, direct B से D कैसे पहुंचो, E कैसे पहुंचोगे, है ना? What I am trying to tell, if sir, please clear it that if we can come to n-1 or n-1, then can we jump 2 steps? See, if you come to n-1, then definitely you can't jump 2 steps, right? अगर तुम इधर खड़े हो तो how can you jump 2 steps? You will take 1 step only ना. 2 steps लोगे तो सीधा नीचे गिर जाओगे. ठीक है? So what I am trying to say, see, you were coming to step A. Now what can be another thing? You come to step B, directly take a jump of 2, come to B, okay? Then C, then D, then E, okay? You come to B, directly go to D, E, okay? ये सब steps सही लग रहे हैं क्या? So guys, try to understand. If you are coming to step number E, okay? अगर मैं step number E पे आ रहा हूँ, तो either I am at step number D and I take a one step to reach step number E. देखो, either you were at step number D and you take one step to reach step number E. Is it making sense? Right? Or you were at step number C and you took a double jump to reach step number E. So either you can come from D or you can come from C. These are the only two possible places from which you can come to E. मानते हो क्या? अगर मैं बोल रहा हूँ बॉस स्टेप नंबर ई है, तो स्टेप नंबर ई के पहले आइदर यू कैन बी एट स्टेप नंबर डी और यू कैन बी एट स्टेप नंबर सी. देयर कैन बी नो अदर पॉसिबल कॉम्बिनेशन हियर. डू यू अग्री? यस. ओके. सो if I ask you, if we are standing at A, then can we jump to C then E? Yeah, you can. Why not? If you are at A, then from C to E you can. Okay. So these are some of the methods. And what are some of the other steps? What are some of the other ways? देखो, from A, I can go to B. From B, I can go to C. From C, I can take a double jump to E. Okay. Then from A, I can go to C. From C, I can go to A. This is another step, right? Then what can be other steps, guys? Can you help me? From B, we go to C. From C, we go to E. Okay. Anything else? A C E लिख लिया. C D E कैसे होगा? From either A, C D E तो already cover हो चुका है, right? So are these three valid paths? Anything else that you can come up with? Anything else that you can come up with? Anything else? C to E is a double step jump, right? Okay. So now what I am trying to tell, try to understand, guys. I am telling if you are reaching this step number E, either you are coming from step number D, देख लो, either you are coming from step number D by taking a single step, or you are coming from step number C, okay, or you are coming from step number C via taking a double step jump, okay. So either you will come from step number D or you will come from step number C, okay. So what I am telling, I ask you, boss, what is the distinct number of ways in which you can reach step number D? मैं पूछता हूँ, in how many distinct ways can you reach step number D? तुम मेरे को बोलते हो, hey आदर्श, the number of distinct ways in which we can reach step number D is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. देखो, इधर तक देखना बस, हाँ. There are 5 distinct ways in which we can reach step number D. So what I will tell you, boss, in these 5 distinct ways only, take a one step jump and you will reach step number E. Is it making sense? That, boss, if there are 5 ways to reach D, then there are 5 ways to reach E if you are coming from D. भाई सोच के देखो ना, मैं बोल रहा हूँ, you can come here in 5 different ways. तुम इधर 5 तरीके से पहुंच सकते हो, और तुम पहुंचे इधर and you can take a single step to reach your goal. So boss, in 5 different ways you can reach your goal ना. 5 अलग-अलग तरीके से इधर पहुंचे, and in each of those techniques you take a single step to reach step number D. See, there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different ways of reaching D. And in each of these steps, I take a single step jump to reach step number E. So can I say there are 5 distinct ways in which you can reach step number E if you are coming from step number D? Yes. Okay. But you can also come from step number C. So I ask you, boss, what is the number of distinct ways in which you can reach step number C? So you tell me, hey Adarsh, there are 3 distinct ways. There are 3 distinct ways in which I can reach step number C. Then मैं तुम लोग को पता है क्या बोलता हूँ? In each of these 3 distinct ways, what you can do? You can take a double jump and reach step number E. So can I say there are 3 distinct ways for you to reach step number E if you are coming from C? Yes. So what is the total number of ways? Either you come from D or you come from E. So add both of these up. So what do I say? The total number of distinct ways to reach step number N is nothing but the total number of distinct ways in which you can reach step N minus 1 plus the total number of distinct ways in which you can reach step N minus 2. That is the answer to the number of distinct ways in which you can reach step number N. How many of you are understanding what is going on? Yeah, so there are 8 ways. देख लो, गिन लो. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 distinct ways, right, in which you can try to, reach step number E. So once I have understood this logic, what is this recurrence relation? Already done. Right? Yeah, it's a tricky thing to think of this logic. That is why I've discussed it. अच्छा कोई मेरे को ये क्वेश्चन पूछेगा क्या? I generally get this question every time, right? कि hey Adarsh, you are saying that from C I am directly jumping to E, but from C you can also jump to D na. Where have you taken that into account? Boss, if you are jumping from C to D na, this is already included in these paths. If you jump from C to D, then you are coming to E from step number D. So this is already taken into account here. Okay. Yes, correct. Okay. So what should be the base? Can anybody help me? What should be the base? Fibonacci hai bhai. If n equal to 1, return 1. If n equal to 2, return what? 2. Okay. Otherwise, return f of n minus 1 plus f of n minus 2. Okay. If I come back, permutation se kar sakta hu, unnecessary complex ho jayega, I think. Okay. So see what we will do. I will write, right? The boss, if let's see the constraints. So n is between 1 and 45, right? So if n equal to 1, see, it's just a function completion problem, right? So I'll expect that n is given as input and we just have to return the output. So we will write here if n equal to 1, okay? Return how many ways? One way only, okay? If n equal to 2, how many ways are there? There are 2 ways, right? Either you take 1 plus 1 or you take directly from 0 to 2, right? Otherwise, what I will say, the total number of ways is nothing but return the number of distinct ways in which you reach step number n minus 1 plus the number of distinct ways in which you reach step n minus 2. Add both of them up and you will get your answer. Okay. So if you run code now, okay, so it got accepted here, it ran, but it has not passed all the test cases, right? So if I try to submit it, now you will see what happens, right? This is a thing here. It will give you a TLE, correct, Kundan? It will give you a TLE. Kya bola? Time limit exceed ho gaya, right? And if you go to the details, you will see that when the input of n is 36, see, it has passed 27 test cases out of 45. But when the input of n was 36, now it gave you a TLE. Now, what is the problem? Why did you get a TLE? Because if you remember, guys, no, it's not a problem of the base case. If you remember, the Fibonacci code is 2 raised to n. Okay. So when the value of n becomes very, very large, now n 36 हो गया, 2 to the power 36. सोचो कितना बड़ा हो गया ये चीज, right? So that is why it is timing out. So the time complexity of our code is very large and we want to optimize it. But current optimization is outside our scope. You will be needing dynamic programming to optimize it. And when you use a dynamic programming or not even dynamic programming, you can try to optimize it using basic for loops, right? Ultimately, what do you want? You want the nth Fibonacci term, right? You can do it using basic for loop also. Dekho to guys, help me. What is the first Fibonacci term? Let me write like this. Let's say int a is equal to the first term is 0. Okay. Then the second term, second term is 1. Okay. And next, when you want to find, let's say the nth term, what you can do? You can just simply do right first plus second and change in the values. You can read about it, right? I'll not go to the details. But what this question essentially states is that, big O of 2 raised to n is too large, right? So that is why it is giving you a TLE. TLE. Yes, what if the value is 10? It will be difficult to think of the combinations for sure. That is why we are giving you this concept, right? You take for a generic value of n and try to break it into smaller sub-problems because it will be very difficult for you otherwise to think it up, right? So this is big O of 2 raised to n, timing out. And later in the course, we will see that there is a technique known as dynamic programming. And if you use dynamic programming for this one, you can reduce your time complexity from big O of 2 raised to n to big O of n. And this is much, much better. हाँ, for loop से भी कर सकते हो. एक काम करना guys, try to read about it. How do I get the nth Fibonacci term? How do I get the nth Fibonacci term using basic for loop? Okay. Read about it. Okay, you will be able to understand. Read about it. कुछ नहीं है, दो variable लेके you have to add it up and then change the values of the variable. Try to read about it, right? How to get the nth Fibonacci term using basic for loops. basic for loop, single for loop, right? Cool, guys. So I think that should be it. It's almost 10 minutes left. I don't know if I should introduce another question at this point of time. Illegal start of expression. Okay. Might be you are missing something. Send the entire code. Send me the code. I'll have a look at it. What's the problem? Okay. So cool, guys. So that should be it. So do you want me to start a new problem? Not really. Ha, वैसा ही x equal to 0, y equal to 1, z is equal to x plus y, and then you will change the values of x and y. Correct, that only itself. Okay. You can try it, right? You can try it. Okay. Okay, guys. So that should be it for today. I'll not solve any new question. Okay. So that gives us a decent coverage on recursion, right? We've tried to solve a variety of questions on recursion. So recursion 2 in your assignments will be taken up in the doubt sessions, right? The instructors will be solving them. So please attend them. From tomorrow, doubt sessions will resume as normal and recursion 2 bucket will get started, right? So those questions will be discussed. And apart from that, there are certain other questions on recursion, right? So once we are done with our course coverage, right, till Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or whatever, if you want, right, we can take up, problem solving sessions and where we can discuss some miscellaneous topics on recursion also, some questions, right? And I'll share you the list of all the questions that I had noted down for you all. I'll share it on Discord. I'll share it. I've tried to do all these things. Just one is left. This is a lead code medium. We'll take it up on Thursday or Friday, right, when we do problem solving. Okay. Cool. So guys, I hope that with these 2 big sessions on recursion, at least I'll stop the recording. So recursion